Right, so welcome to Free Agents. It's a Cypher system RPG set within the Beacon Space universe. While we have a faction turn that deals with the giant political organizations and factions within Beacon Space, our game looks into the Penumbra, the area of society where light and darkness meet, the shadows and the cracks of society, the place where clients who have exacting needs can claim plausible deniability and get the things done that nobody else can. Individuals within the Penumbra are our titular free agents, and we have a specialized team of such individuals to perform a mission with us today. Perhaps I can go down the list and get you to introduce yourself and your character. Joe, why don't you introduce us to your character first?
For me.
Yes.
So I'm Sir Frederick Ziegler, effectively a huge cybernetically enhanced mountain of a man in power armor who you'll soon find out is very angry most of the time and not quite sure why. His main motivation in life is to find an artifact, but we're not entirely sure why he's doing this or what the artifact is, to be honest. A lot of his background's a bit murky. He's of the knightly houses of Sihi. And yeah, I'm sure we could... Yeah, that's most of it.
Angry cybernetic warrior. Next up, we have Shadow. Why don't you introduce your character to us, please?
Sure. So, almost in contrast to the massive knight, is a very androgynous figure, dressed in kind of plain kind of brown tunic, always kind of clutching their satchel as they're running around, kind of getting into trouble because their main motivation in life is to basically experience new things and learn about everything they come across. Also happen to be from Sihi, but not from one of the knightly houses. Is a member of the Shi, who are basically AIs that kind of spontaneously spawn and get implanted into kind of pseudo-organic bodies.
Very cool. I have two very robotic individuals so far, although some with more of a variety of emotion than others. Next up, we have someone who hasn't played in a session before, Whittle Marrow Yottle. Why don't you introduce your character to the rest of us?
Whittle Marrow Yottle is a inquisitive speaker who crafts unique objects, and she is a Queltle, which is a kind of mix between an axolotl and a manta ray that's humanoid. And she is from Sage Block on the city of Cardacook. I mean, the planet of Cardacook, which is where the Queltle come from, and the source of the Concord of Mutual Disdain. And she is an inquisitive sort, and fairly recently, the Concord, and as a result, the Queltle and their the other main species on the planet, other than humans, the Tarret, have fairly recently begun to look outside from their home system, and as a result, she, as one of the inquisitive ones, has started to travel around the sector.
Cool. Thank you very much. We have first aquatic player, I believe.
Yeah.
And finally, but not least, Leo Fritch Crow. Why don't you introduce your intrepid character to us?
Yeah, he's ex-Navy, ex-Commonwealth Navy pilot who's like left and wants to just see what just new in the galaxy, see what's happening. See new things, meet new people. Wandering around, hence the name of the ship, the CS Wanderer. Yeah, he's trying to make his way, trying to make a bit of money, trying to survive. Sort of, all around sort of perfect free agent sort of thing.
Cool. Fantastic. All right, with everyone introduced, let's set the scene. So, as with all free agents, some of you are coming from an assignment that you have just completed, or some of you have been waiting for an assignment for some time. We are in the Hex 0909, the center system of Beacon Space, aboard the TTGI station, which is a very large space station run by the Telas Terra Group Initiative in orbit of the planet of Telas. It is also the primary mission hub for free agents in the center of the sector. It's where the most elite and the highest volume of free agent activity appears from. We're going to go around and ask how long has passed since the last time you did a mission, and what do you do with your downtime while you're waiting for an assignment on the TTGI station? Let's start with our three who I know how long their last mission was, maybe about a week ago. Frederick, Leo Fritsch, and Blodwin have all recently come from doing an assignment in the Healer system. What have you been doing with your downtime?
Frederick's he's been getting into the arm wrestling scene. And generally just terrorizing people in his local vicinity, to be honest. He's not been doing much other than that, as per the character.
As per character.
Do you have a place that you stay on the station, or have you just been sleeping wherever you lie?
Arm wrestling involved.
There's an arm wrestling circuit on the station.
I think Frederick started an arm wrestling circuit.
Oh, very cool. Okay. And Bloodwin, what have you been doing with your time?
So yeah, I think Bond's probably been again kind of like compiling kind of notes on every experience that they've had in the last short while, and I think possibly started having come across this new rebel group that they hadn't heard of before in the last mission they were on. I think they've started doing some kind of research into who they are, why they exist, why they were attempting to steal things from the ship they were on.
Yeah, the Golden Stag Revolutionary Front. Very cool. Leo Fritsch, what have you been doing in the week or so since we last saw you?
Yeah, he's been trying to catch up on news from home and stuff, and recently all the stuff happened of like there's been a bit of unrest at home and protests and stuff, so he's been glued to the TV or whatever TT, BBTV and all that stuff, and watching all the news coming out of that, and trying to keep busy, trying to usual like maintenance on the ship and things that always are broken and need fixing and whatever.
Do you still have any contacts within the assembled Commonwealth?
Yeah, he's still got family there and like people who he served with and stuff, but like no one he like sort of keeps in touch with that much sort of thing. But every now and then he'll send a message home and tell him what's going on, and he might have got a few messages recently about people going, "What the hell's going on? Why are you in the news?" and stuff. But
So, why don't you give me intellect roll? Just an intellect roll with no difficulty. We'll see how high you roll. Five. Okay.
Super high.
Yeah. I think as a result of your slightly tarnished reputation with the Assembled Commonwealth for a job that you'd done previously. Yeah, I don't think that your messages home are being answered, or if they are, it's clear they've been redacted by whatever military service prevents the revealing of secrets. Though in the news you do see rumblings of political turmoil in the Assembled Commonwealth, and yeah, you can discern that messages to you have been redacted or edited in some way from the Aster system. And last but not least, Whittle Marrow Yottle. How long have you been on the Tele station? Have you been here for a while? Are you coming here fresh from the homeworld? What brings you to the TTGI station in Center System?
I think that Whittle has been still quite recent, but maybe been here a few days, just kind of exploring. And I mean, when there's a whole sector to explore, might as well start at the center. So she made her way here, and she kind of, whenever she can, kind of like picks things up and like inspects them just to see what's new and different from where she's from, and maybe like start tinkering with things. She back home used to craft things out of coral and metal, and she's kind of continued to tinker with small things as she's come to these new places, and writing down some of her experiences in her notepad.
Sure. Well, it's only recently that Karkaduk, or the Concord of Mutual Disdain, that the planetary government there have opened it up to allow people to travel out into the galaxy. So you've kind of been caught up in the new wave of freedom.
Yeah, it wasn't illegal, but it was definitely frowned upon to kind of leave the planet beforehand. So whereas before, if you saw a Quelfel out, they're probably like quite independent minded, not necessarily that attached to home. But this new wave is kind of more inquisitive, but still connected to where they're from.
Very cool. You would actually have noticed over the last week or so, there's way more Quetel and Tarot around than usual, and you'll have heard that Yeovin Gertrude Mottle is on the station. The somewhat infamous trader and financier is on the station, having recently bought their latest caravan of trade goods to the station. So you'll have seen a few more of your kinsmen around over the last week or so. What
Always
have you been
exciting.
doing in your downtime on the station? And what's the last mission that you did?
The last mission was probably the first, and in the meantime has taken anything they can kind of get their hands on and just being tinkering with them. So like probably has a small collection of like little metal contraptions that probably don't really do anything, but it's fun to fiddle with them and to take them apart, put them back together in ways that don't necessarily mean they still work.
Cool. So rather new to being a free agent.
Yes.
So as is standard for agents of the Penumbra, you all get a ping, and the location that you've been asked to gather at is a familiar one. It is the Cacti Oasis Bar and Casino on the lower decks of the TTGI station in the Entertainment Hab. The TTGI station is laid out like a giant wheel with a connection of giant habs, each with a different specialization. You've been invited to the Entertainment Hab, and as you make your way there, the Cacti Oasis Bar and Casino is a seedy dive bar. It's filled with large hexagonal blue tables. Well, in one corner, it has a large figure 8 table with a crowd of individuals around it, some of which appear to have like VR or cybernetic augmented headsets on, and there are small robots flying around the table in a figure eight. And you'd all know this to be a mix between like VR drone racing and Scalextrics. It's happens at various levels of society. This is one of the lower ones. This is the backstreet robo racing, but it's a very popular attraction in this bar. You can see that a lot of it is faux wood, and the clientele, unlike some of the more exclusive establishments which might favor one type of person or the other, truly is a melting pot of all of the species of beacon space in this bar. You can see creatures that look like Giselles. You can see crystalline entities that look to be silicon-based life forms. You can see various aquatic creatures. I see some that appear to be sentient slime or gel. You can see all of the types of species that exist within beacon space. You can see the staff are all wearing sombreros and have a little happy cactus for their name badge. And along the back is a series of booths with jukeboxes, where in various booths we see people plugged in to these what look to be jukeboxes, but you would all know to be Penumbra message stations that are hooked into the carrier waves and the under frequencies that the Penumbra use to communicate. You're all invited within to take a booth and await your mission. Who arrives there first? Who is the earliest when they get a summons?
I think Blooded is, if not the first, then very early at least. They're slightly obsessed with being on time to things due to their kind of innate inability with awareness. They like to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be well in time, because they're aware that they will otherwise distract themselves and not make it.
Cool. Yeah, so you're sat in the booth already when everyone else starts showing up.
And I think they probably got their wrist computer open, and they've hacked into one of the VR signals of one of the drones, and they're playing with seeing how well that the person they've hacked into can fly with various degrees of delay between what they're supposed to be seeing and what they actually see.
Very good. Now, why don't you give me a difficulty 3 intellect roll?
Risk comp bringing it down by 1?
Yep, certainly. Difficulty 2.
Cool.
Okay, so as our next free agent walks into the room, you hear a giant groan and complaining from the figure eight table that's prominently near the front entrance. There's a large section of the crowd walk away going, it's a scam. There's an uproar. Money's changing hands. What exactly have you done to this race, Bloodwin? How have you manipulated it to your will?
So I've been slowly increasing the delay between on the signal between the drone and the headset. So they're seeing. So the drivers are over time. They slowly get more and more behind where the drone actually is. So from their perspective, they're flying slower than they actually are.
I think, as you've done that, what appears to be a child, but is an android, wearing the sombrero and wearing the cactus pin of a staff member, walks over to your booth, looks up at you with cherub-like, smooth-skinned features, rosy cheeks, and they wink and they slide 100 howl over to you, over on the table. They walk off back into the before they walk off back into the bar. You can mark 100 Howl for your fixing of the robo race. Who arrives next, hearing this commotion from the table?
Yeah, I'll come in. Leverage comes into the bar and notices all the shouting and stuff, and like takes notice of it a little bit, and then shakes his head and moves towards the bar and grabs a drink, and then tries to find the booth, and then sees Bloodwin, gives him a nod, and then sits down next to him.
Nice to see you again.
See you. Are we all back together, or is it just you and me?
I didn't bother to check her else I sent the message to. It would be odd if it was just the two of us. It's normally larger crews than that for the kind of work they send us on.
I'm sure there'll be others turning up soon.
I think at that we hear, "No, sir, we told you before, you're not allowed back in here." And Sir Frederick Ziegler is out the front door being accosted by a gangly man who is about 8 feet tall, who is somehow even taller than Frederick Ziegler, but is also as thin as it's reasonably possible for a human to be. They look kind of hunched over and somewhat in pain from the higher gravity of the environment than they're used to. Yeah, Ziegler, as you try to get into the bar, this employee member is in front of you saying that you're barred from all the trouble that happened last time you were here.
I bring out a bag full of cred sticks and shake it in front of his face. Will this make this issue go away?
You can kind of look from side to side, and you're like, "Please put that away, sir. Just don't break anything." And he steps to one side and lets you in.
As I walk past and absolutely go up full pelt towards the table.
Cool.
How did you manage to get barred from this place?
Oh, you know how it is. You say one bad thing and they start a fight up with you.
It's usually you starting the fights.
No. I never start a fight. It's their problem.
You never start a fight, you just finish them.
Not normally finish. That's his speed in sessions. Can I do a perception test? See, I need to scan the area.
Give me. Are you looking around?
I'm
What are you looking for around to see?
I'm looking at like the skirting boards or the equivalent of, and the floor and that kind of area.
Gotcha. Yeah, sure. Have a look around.
Intellect roll?
Use intellect. Yeah.
What difficulty?
Difficulty 3. Right. You see absolutely nothing. You look around, and your bio augments. Your cybernetics are on the fritz, and your vision is kind of shaky. The pulsing of the music seems to be having an effect on you too. Like your vision is wobbling to the beat, and you can't quite see any vents or cleaning robots.
All right. At this point, my character's just got his handheld scanner out and is tapping it repeatedly. Isn't interacting with anybody at the table. He's just scanning.
Are you actually scanning, or are you playing like Tetris?
No, he's not actually. I mean, I've just done the perception test for scanning, so he's just stood there tapping his thing, getting angry at the fact that it's not picking what he wants up.
Cool. And finally, Miss Whittle, have you ever been to this bar before? Have you interacted with the free agent bar at all?
I don't think so. I think it's her first time, which is probably why she's the last to be here, because somewhere along the way she saw something interesting and just had to have a look. So eventually she makes her way over and of course decides to start looking at anything and everything that looks different.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. And there's definitely a lot of oddities to be seen, such as you walk in, you see a giant hulking power armored individual in the back, who seems to be in some kind of altercation with one of the staff members just before you walked in. But you see the booth that Agent Handler Wolf had indicated for you to gather in, with our 3 other agents sat around it.
Yeah, she makes a quite a different sight, standing at about 4 foot in with a bucket hat with holes for her gills, dungarees and Wellington boots. With a backpack on, she takes a moment to look around everywhere and just take in everything different before she eventually makes her way over.
Cool. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sights to see. Can you give me a difficulty 3 intellect roll for me, please? Failure. Okay. You two cannot see anything particularly unusual about the bar, apart from everything that is already unusual. The variety of species, the great mass of people pressing against one another in this busy establishment. You make your way to your booth, and the jukebox type device at the end starts beeping as it detects the last of the invited individuals into the booth. It pops up saying that it has a mission available, message available from the Penumbra.
I think Blodin kind of reaches over and taps that without, like, kind of subconsciously not really paying attention, and kind of at the same time, like, looks up and looks around trying to spot the new person, and sees Whittle as, like, and kind of, like, tilts the head to one side and is, worked with you before. Nice to meet you. I'm Blodin.
In response, there's a kind of there's some whistles and clicks and like bubble popping sounds, and then from the box attached around her neck comes a voice. Hello, nice to meet you.
At which point, Blodin goes back to ignoring people and looks at the message that they opened.
Yeah, Leofridge will like just slide over a bit in the booth and make a space for him to sit down. Her to sit down.
Any of you eating or drinking while you're here?
Leofridge he's got a drink in front of him.
Ziegler's just recovered. Ziegler's coming back from some vigorous arm wrestling, so he's just chugging as many drinks as he can down. So I don't think he's with the group at this point. He's just been walking around, stealing other people's drinks off tables and scanning.
Sure.
Whistle's probably having something to keep hydrated.
The recycled air of the station not doing your gills any good, I'm sure.
It's fine, it's perfectly doable, but it's always nice to be more hydrated.
Okay, cool. So, as is familiar to you, or maybe to Whittle, it'll be not so much. You have a message waiting from Agent Handler Wolf, who is the main agent handler on the TTGI station. It is the subject is marked "Steamroller required for quality of life improvements." And the message reads, TTGI authorities have put an open bounty as regards several issues plaguing the asteroid belt located at 0909, East 250, Mark 89, which you would all know to be spatial coordinates within the center hex. The mineral-rich asteroid belt is home to several larger installations and institutes. Pirate raids from the asteroids are common. Mining work has currently ceased due to a dispute between a trifecta of corporations. In addition, gravitic anomalies have made transit through the area increasingly perilous for all travelers. Find a way to resolve any of these issues, and I shall accept the bounty on your behalf. Upon acceptance of this mission, find enclosed a relevant electronic key. It lists the reward as 4,000 howl for ceasing pirate raids within the asteroid belt, 2,000 howl for resolving the mining dispute within the asteroid belt, and 2,000 howl for reducing the risk of graphitic anomalies within the asteroid belt.
Wow. That's certainly an interesting list of possible goals.
Ziegler actually starts wandering over now because there's a mention of money. What are we doing then?
Pirates, it seems.
Yeah.
Or gravitic anomalies.
I look at Ziegler. I'm not sure the armor and weapon will be necessary for the mining dispute and the gravity problem, but the pirates are definitely up your alley.
You don't know nothing, sunshine. You don't know how many scrapes these suits have got me through.
I look forward to you shooting your way through physics.
Yeah, I've done it once before. I'll do it again. Ziegler goes back to just ignoring people after that.
Cool. So, assuming that you accept the mission,
Mhm.
you all receive 1 XP. So mark 1 XP.
Oh wow, so a total of 1 XP.
And now 6.
You got 6.
You can level up.
You should spend 4 on a level up quick.
Yeah.
And also, as a result of accepting a free agent mission, you all receive a Cypher. Ciphers are special objects within the Cypher system that give players access to special abilities that they might not otherwise have. These are determined randomly. So we'll go down the list. Let me pull up the table, which I should have made a handout yet again, but definitely will be in time for the next session, I promise. Ciphers. Let me find the table. There we go. Okay. So first, let's have Bloodwin. Can you roll a d3 for me, please, to determine the type of cipher you'll receive?
A 1.
A 1. That is a subtle cipher. If you could give me a 1d100.
74.
That's actually a manifest cipher. I said the wrong one. 74 is a remote viewer. Which is a level 1d6 cipher, and the effect is for 1 hour per cipher level, the user can see everything going on in the vicinity of the cipher, regardless of the distance between them. It acts as a spy camera for some time. With 360 view, it's a special object. Where have you picked up this very powerful camera?
Interesting. I think probably is there trade in ciphers, or is this like they're rare enough that that's not a thing that happens?
Rare enough and unique enough that they represent just kind of things that fall into your lap as a result of being a free agent and being in kind of the areas of society that people don't operate. You find yourself coming across weird and wonderful things from time to time.
Because I was thinking that maybe over the last week since the last mission, seeing as I've been sat around holding on to this density cipher that I have no use for, I was wondering if perhaps just being in a place where around other people who are also brain work, these other free agents that might have interesting things. I met someone who had this and had no use for it and wanted to, but was, I guess, more melee focused. And
Yeah,
we trade off.
you are hanging around someplace like this bar, just on the TTJ station, you're swapping war stories with another free agent, and they were just like, you know what, I could really use that, and I have this useless thing, and hands you this surveillance equipment. Alright, very cool.
So I will remove the density one from my sheet and take the remote viewer.
Cool. Next, going down the list, we have Leofridge. Why don't you roll a 1d3 for me, please? Three. It's a fantastic Cypher. Can you roll a 1d100 for me, please? 29. Let's check the list. "29 is Heat Attack. Which is, say, 1d6 level Cypher. And the effect is, for the next day, each time the user strikes a solid creature or object, the attack generates a burst of heat that inflicts 2 additional points of damage. It's a +2 damage for a day if you activate this fantastical Cypher. And next we have Sir Frederick Ziegler. You could roll a 1d3 for me, please.
So 184. 1,84.
So that is a manifest Cypher. And 84 is Sniper Module.
Alright, that's going to be useful in my harpoon/shotgun.
So 1d6 level Cypher. And the effect is, for the next hour per Cypher level, the effective range of the user's ranged weapon increases by 1 category. Immediate to short, short to long, long to very long to 300 meters. A weapon with a range greater than very long has its range doubled. So given that your harpoon is currently long range, when you use this, it will go to very long range.
Turn a harpoon into a literal sniper.
Yeah, you have some kind of temporary augment that you've managed to acquire for your harpoon. Maybe it's just an extra length of cable and some more PSI in the chamber, I don't know. But very cool.
No, I think I'm going to keep that, and I've previously used that advanced gyroscopic design on what we're calling arm wrestling for some funky stuff.
And finally, Whipple, if you could roll a 1d3 and then a 1d100 for me, please. Oh, you just rolled a 1d3. You roll a 1d3 for me again. Ew, cool. So you receive a subtle Cypher, which is a twist of the environment, twist of luck. And 22 is the Cypher called Disarm. Which, if I get to it, is a 1d6 plus 1 level Cypher. And the effect is one NPC within immediate range whose level is lower than the Cypher level drops whatever they are holding. So when you activate this Cypher, you can make one NPC within immediate range drop whatever they're holding, as long as they're lower than the Cypher level. So we'll have to see what happens if you try to use it on a user who is higher level than your Cypher. I think as a diplomat, that Cypher makes sense. You have some card in your deck to disarm an opponent.
I suppose so. Now at my Cypher limit.
Oh, true. Yes, yeah. You exchanged the ability to hold one Cypher in order to manifest your species' ability to be able to breathe underwater an unlimited amount of time. Cool. Yep. So as mentioned in the mission, when you accept, all of your individual comms devices or electronic storage units, or even your cred stick if you don't have anything else, pip with the message of an incoming transmission, and you receive an electronic key which indicates a room within the Telos station. You would know it to be within the... Let me check which hab number it is. But while I look that up, why don't you tell me how you go about getting to the location of the key? Do you all travel together? Do you all split up?
I assume we all have the same key. It's not
Yes, yeah. You all have the same key. Yeah.
I think Ziegler
was to just-
Ziegler ran off without the key and started bashing the door until people actually came up with the key. So until I don't know how other people are getting there, but Ziegler's bashing this door until whatever happens.
You are currently in Hab 6, and the key is to an office in Hab 2.
So-
You'd know transit, you can take either one of the small shuttles that goes around the outside and then attaches to the airlocks on the hub, or there's the internal transit system that you can use.
Is there the ability to run there? And enough corridors to get there, or would that be?
Between the various habs is a lot of space, but given your environment suit, you probably could pop yourself out of an airlock, run along, yeah.
Would it take me Would I be slower than the transport?
Probably significantly slower, yeah.
All right, I still want to run there. I think.
Cool. So the rest of us get there
Yeah, we all just go on the transport.
half an hour earlier by normal transport means.
Cool. So you arrive in Hab 2, which is probably unfamiliar to most of you. Although you can tell me different. This is what's called, this hab is referred to as Diplomatic Hab 2. And it's where the offices for BBTV are, the main news organization in the sector. This is where their main offices are. It's where the Arboretum is, which is a large section of the station that's been converted into a sanctuary for flora and fauna of various types, which is where the business people will go to have their lunch. It's kind of exclusive. It's technically open to anyone on the station, but not really. So they'll look at you as if you're riffraff if you're not of a certain caliber. It's also where the TTGI and faction diplomatic offices are. So there's a lot of it's kind of like around the UN in New York. There's a lot of official people running around, a lot of people with high government clearance from various cultures. There's a lot of as a result of the high-powered politicians being there, there's a lot of financiers and traders and people with various corporate interests running around. So as you get off the station to Hab 2, you might feel a little bit out of your element, but you can tell me if that's so or not with all of these high-powered people running around. But yeah, it directs you to an office on the 3rd floor within what it describes as the faction diplomatic offices, although the sign on the floor as you're heading towards the office is DAC.
I think that Whittle actually has been here before and has perhaps even on more than one occasion had to give a speech about, no, actually, yes, I am supposed to be here. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just from wandering the station and trying to explore all sorts of new places. Seeing as how it's a diplomatic cove, it's arguably less dangerous or an even better place to explore.
Awesome. Have you met the Concord of Mutual Disdain's representative?
I think in passing, maybe a conversation or two, but not like really know each other.
That would be Sekel Zelo Boston German Tidy Apple, is a member of your species, who's a representative to the TTGI station. But yeah, you all you go along. You find the office. Inside, you find a secretary who ushers you through. And as you walk through the main door, you see this.
A black screen.
A black screen, is it? All right. Let me change the lighting real quick. How about now?
There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
Office.
Yes. You walk in, you see this main desk that would normally have secretaries, but is currently vacant. And you see the large round table in the center with some individuals currently sat around it.
So this is external to thing, but this is reminding me of USSR. I don't know why.
USSR?
Yeah, like the committee table and it's sorry.
Do you mean like the UN Security Council?
No, it's more
The
Soviet.
USSR.
It's more Soviet Russian in my eyes.
Gotcha. All right,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, you walk in, and as you walk in, you hear the sounds of like enthusiastic argument between everyone around the table.
Cool. So, just judging by tokens, I'm seeing scientists, possibly like soldiers. Like, are these kind of obviously distinct groups?
These are obviously three distinct groups. I can give you a brief description of the individual around the table. Hang on. You see the gentleman at the top right.
Mhm.
Is arguing very vehemently. He's red in the face. He's a human. He's about 5'10". He's he's the loudest of the three. He's standing up. He's yelling. He's pointing at the others. At the top left appear to be two young humans. They're in white lab coats, but underneath they have brightly coloured T-shirts with some kind of graphic logo on them. It's clearly some kind of uniform, or they just have the same taste in clothing. And then at the bottom, you see two individuals that appear to be either robotic or heavily cybernetically augmented. See their heads are covered in what is either a helmet or their head. See a bunch of wires popping out of them. You can see the vocal notes that you're getting from them are very artificial, and and they're all shouting at each other very loudly around this table.
I think Rodin will just stand there and like attempt to figure out what the exact thing they're arguing about, unless someone else wants to.
I mean, Ziegler can use all the tact he knows and has the access to and run over, but I imagine you might want to do something a bit more diplomatic before I decide to charge in.
Chainsaw the table in half is the best option.
Right. Fine. Ziegler absolutely pelts over to these two robotics, and, like puts his hand on each of the shoulders. And what the fuck is going on here?
Give me are you trying to intimidate, or are you And you're just being your usual self.
I was just sort of grabbed the shot. I'm not trying to intimidate. I'm just trying to talk, but it might be interpreted as intimidation. I don't know.
Okay, give me a might roll to make your presence significant amongst the current ire. Difficulty 2.
2. Okay.
You're an imposing figure.
That easy.
Yeah. So you do successfully. The arguing around the table stops. The pair of young individuals, the older red-faced man and these two androids all turn to look at you like, who are you? What are you doing here?
I don't think asking me who I am is the important question here.
Yeah.
I asked, what are you guys doing here?
The guy at the top right is the first to speak. Like, well, these bastards are all stealing my minerals. Guys at the top left indignantly go, stealing your minerals? We bought the rights. We are perfectly entitled to those deposits, and your backwards ways are not entitled to any of them. The individuals here start speaking up. This is illogical. Our rights are well known. We own 1/3 of the asteroid deposits. We are due our share. And then the argument just starts up again. They all start yelling over each other again.
Whiffle just casually walks up to the table and takes a seat.
Just watching the proceedings.
Yeah, it sits down.
I think Ziegler then pipes up, saying, "What do you mean rights? Nobody has got any rights. What are you on about?"
You're all left.
Leifert walks up to the table and just goes, look, I think we've been asked to try and mediate this dispute. Can you kind of please explain what is actually going on?
Yeah, they all turn to you and start speaking at the same time.
One group at a time. The guys in white. You guys can speak first.
Looking grumpy, but otherwise closing his mouth. The guy at the top right shuts his mouth, and the androids stop their vocoding. And the guys at the top left turn to you, and the one on the left speaks. Goes, "Hi, I'm Rubius Branderson. I am a lawyer and diplomat for mine ! Iral.
Well,
We are." And you can see now that on the t-shirt, it's as if the early era of smartphones, when everything was like a glossy bubble and kind of somewhat 3D, has the shiny effect on each of the letters. You can see mine ! Iral, and then like a graphic of like a clip art spaceship with a smiley face on it underneath. And they turn to you and go, we have been operating in asteroid belt East 250 Mark 89 for some time now, and we were finding the perfect exotic metals to expand our growing collection, and then these two, and it points at the three of them, these two have been infringing on our claimed rocks out in the asteroid belt. There's enough to go around as long as they stick to their territory.
And Ziegler just pipe in a big cheek and go, "Which of the two of the three do you mean?"
And both of the people here turn to look up at the same time and go, "We are one," and then turn around again in synchronous.
Right.
This man speaks up next. He goes, "Not that it's important that you know who I am. I am Ezekiel Aker. I'm from the Darien Agricultural Consortium. And it's our right. We've been mining there for years. And these yuppie fuckers have come in and they're taking what is ours. And then finally, the pair of robots speak up and say, "We represent Elena Fiafa. We have purchased the rights from TTGI. We own 1/3 of the mineral deposits, and we have been mining at an efficiency of 89.73% for the last 4 months. You can see our mining reports publicly available on the Elena Fiafa electronic network."
Would mining rights like this be a public record that I could look up?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Blodin will like pop open the risk computer and start looking up the mining records to I guess TTGI records or whatever that lists who has the rights.
Yeah. So within a hex, the asteroid belts are marked by their spatial coordinates, which are all given in reference to the FTL gate, which this asteroid belt in particular is known as East 250 Mark 89, which represents the course that you would have to lay in from the FTL gate to get there. You know, it to be a somewhat large asteroid belt that is rich in exotic minerals, in exotic metals, and some base minerals. And there's a record of an auction 3.5 years ago. There was an auction for various mining rights, and it's mentioned that as seems to be, it was split between 3 groups. It was split between the Darien Agricultural Consortium, it was split between Mine Iral, and the Elena Fiafa. They were given equal rights to the asteroid belt, equal access, and it was divided by various like buoy markers, the rocks that the orbital bodies that each would have access to.
Cool. So there's a map attached of the region of space with those buoy markers on it.
Yeah. The markers are clearly defined. Yeah.
I think Robin will go lean over the table and not looking up from their screen. Will go, well, the records from 3 years ago when you bought the rights seem to state pretty clearly delineated lines. Do you have any proof that any of you have been into each other's regions of the asteroid belt?
Yeah. The Ezekiel speaks up first, slams his fist on the table, and goes, "Yeah, well, those are irrelevant now. We all have invalidated each other's rights. Those buoys are no longer accurate. The gravity anomalies are making it impossible for anyone to do anything. We're going to the rocks that are still available to us while we still can. And these two don't understand that since we were there first, it's our right to get the ones that are still available. And the buoys, they've been shifting. There's no clear lines anywhere on it." And he keeps ranting and ranting and ranting.
And the issue is the gravitic anomalies changing the areas of the mineral deposits.
You say that out loud?
Yeah, to them.
And the pair of robots who speak up will say, "This is Legal Negotiator 4's assessment as well."
So, would it be easier to resolve the gravitic issue first and then make negotiations for dividing up what is left into 3 equal parts as you have the rights to afterwards?
Resolving the graphitic anomalies is illogical. And then the individuals at the top left speak up. "No, you're illogical, tinhead."
Which Blodin looks at the one who said that and is like, I'm not sure insulting the other people at the table is going to be conducive to negotiations.
"Listen, son, we are the hottest thing in mining. We started off in a single mining craft, and now we span across the sector in association with the amazing assembled Commonwealth. You do not want to mess with Mineral."
Oh God, really? Ugh.
Ziegler just look over sarcastically and add dude after they finished.
Listen, if you want to see how hip to the jive we are, you can download our app.
Why
And
do you
collect mineral points to spend on our merch.
Is there some form of blockchain behind this? Let's leave it to them. Sorry.
It's the quantum blockchain.
Hey, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you want to trade in ERAL coins, I will not stop you. Winks.
Leverage speaks up and just ignoring them completely and just goes, does anyone actually know what this gravitic anomaly is? Like, or is it just like the most unusual thing ever? Like,
Ezekiel speaks up and goes, well, it started about 6 months ago. It doesn't make no logical sense. The planetary body orbits nearby have stayed regular. The asteroid belts were moving as we would expect, and then these bubbles of graphitic pull and push appear. They're not on sensors. It makes it absolute hazard to move anywhere. I nearly got killed by one myself when I was walking through my trusty Bessie. But and he describes to you that over the last 6 months or so, these like pockets of weird gravity that like push outwards or pull inwards have been appearing, and they're not regular. They're just like popping up in the asteroid belt, and they're throwing everything out of whack because you won't detect them on sensors. You'll just suddenly be in one, and then you're being pushed towards an asteroid, or you're being pulled away from your course, and it's just made it hell for everyone to travel through.
I've never heard anything like it before in my life. That's the strangest thing. Do you have anything that's mapping the new or any maps that show the new like areas like that the mineral deposits are now? Like, do you have any latest maps that you can show us?
It's very quiet.
So you were continuing to mine without maps.
We did not say we don't have maps. We want the safe route.
Right. Could you share them with us privately and not like with each other? And we promise not to share them with the other parties.
You're working for Mineral, aren't you?
Why would I work for them? They're dicks.
Hey, guy, they're not working for us. They're clearly with the old timers like you. Look at this one. Points of Ezekiel. Like, he just reeks of cow. No, the electronic entities will speak out. You know, we cannot trust these third parties.
Why can't you trust third parties?
There have been repeated pirate raids amongst the gravitically trapped ships. That's damn right. We keep being raided for our minerals. And I'll go speak up. We hate to admit it, but yes, us too.
When did the pirate raids first start?
They have started since calculating. 6 standard TTGI weeks increased in frequency. Pirate raids historically continue to plague the area for many years, but over the last 6 weeks they have increased 42%.
Did they start increasing at the same time as the gravity anomalies?
Negative, although correlation between stranded and vulnerable ships and increased pirate activity seems logical.
Yeah, okay.
So it is possible that there is a group out there that is causing the gravity anomalies.
Or they're just taking advantage of the situation.
They could be taking advantage of an existing situation, or they could be to improve their chances.
I darn well think it's those guys. Hey, man, that's like your opinion. It's not us.
Has there been any sort of recordings made of the gravitic anomalies in terms of their strength, their areas they affect, any sort of information along those lines?
Nope, we never recorded a single thing about any of the anomalies. Yeah, we did, but we're not telling. We have recorded confidential information regarding safe routes to mineral deposits.
I assume that like all of these, okay, maybe the robot people have their communicators built in, but I assume the other guys have communicators on them of some sort.
Yep. Yeah, they have like pages, comm devices linked into the station network.
Would those devices have access to their individual company networks?
Communications network. Yeah, I see where you're going with this, and I don't know if you'd be able to like
That's
access their data servers.
Cool.
Like maybe if you like went back to their offices and hacked into their servers themselves, but
Would they be able to? Would their offices are obviously a kind of matter of public record where they are.
the DAC. This is actually a DAC office. You would know the one of the hubs on TTGI station is entirely inaccessible. In fact, two of them, hub 11 and 12, are inaccessible, and this has been the way for hundreds of years ago, before Telas was even began to be terraformed, while it was still an absolute just chaos world. There was an incident with a giant ship called the DAC Titanic that ripped off two of the hubs on TTGI station, which have never been repaired because currently the station is a more advanced tech level than we're capable of reproducing.
Mm-hmm.
So these two hubs have just been left completely trashed by a DAC ship. And the Darien Agricultural Consortium used to be a huge, in faction terms, could almost have been a hegemon in terms of their grip over like farming worlds and food and agriculture, and this giant consortium. But now calling it a agricultural consortium is a bit of a Mickey take. They're a relatively small operation. They have like isolated farms on some hell worlds where they've managed to hang on to property that other people haven't taken or colonized. But as a mark of their history, they still have this office on the TTGI station, and now the general perception of them is as backwater cow farmers, basically.
Okay. But he was the one who didn't have any records.
Oh, so he claimed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mineral, their headquarters is in the Aster system, and I don't think you will have. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I don't think you will have heard of the Alina Fiafa before. They're yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No.
Cool. Yeah, I think since we're in the office of one of them, it is. I think it is Blowden's kind of first instinct to go looking for any records that would be relevant to the conversation.
Yep, sure. If you're done here and leave them to sit around the table arguing, you can all head further into the offices.
Well, I mean, the rest of you can all stay here whilst Blowden goes wandering, if you'd like.
Yeah, we could try and keep them talking, or at least distracted or something.
Yeah.
Sure. You walk over to like these terminals, or do you go through the doors looking for somewhere to plug in?
I guess Blowden will go for these terminals first because they're here, have a look, and then see whether or not they can get through here. If not, then we'd go looking for something more,
Yeah.
or with more access.
Yeah, no problem. No one's really paying attention to you. They're all too absorbed in the argument with each other. You walk over and set up at one of the receptionist terminals without issue. Yep. And you'll see the logo of the Dairy and Agricultural Consortium, which is like a old school, just stylized DAC with like a couple of pictures of like the silhouette of a couple of corns of wheat.
Uh-huh.
It's like a State Farm-esque kind of logo. It's just old school food.
So yeah, so I guess they're letting him sit down at, at one of these computers, pulls out the wire from their wrist computer, plugs it in, and starts just looking to see what they can find.
Yeah. As you plug in and the screen switches to like the desktop background, the first thing that pops up is noting that this is conference room 1 and it's been booked for a negotiation between Mineral, DAC, and Elena Fiaffa, and that it's booked for the next hour or so, and the third-party arbitrators would be in attendance. It's marked out on like their calendar, and they have the various icons of like accounting software, calendar software, everything a receptionist would typically have.
Cool. So yeah, one starts clicking around, looking at the network to see how easy would it be to go from here to I guess confidential information, as it were. I will activate my machine interface to discern to make it easier for me to figure it out.
Cool. Yeah. Machine interface. I think this reduces it low enough that you can just find, as a result of your machine interface, you can just find like the company intranet, where you don't have access to any confidential information yet, but anything that a standard employee would have access to, like if you wanted, you could note that it's for a receptionist, Sarah Furlow, and you note that you could book holiday time for her. You can access her email. Sarah's left her computer unlocked to you. Basically, you see the company intranet, and you can access everything that a receptionist would be able to. You can see employee schedules. You can get contact numbers for various people within DAC.
Cool. Now that I see the intranet, I'm fairly confident that I can probably, with a bit of hacking, probably make my way to something more protected. I think one kind of like sits down, gets properly positioned to hack, as it were. And I would like to go search and just see what records they have of the gravitic anomalies, the asteroid belt as it is now.
Asteroid Belt 250 Mark 89.
Yeah.
While Bloodwin is doing this, is anyone else asking questions or speaking to the diplomat?
Yes. Whittle will attempt to speak to one of them, saying, well, you see, when you're talking about the unwillingness to share information on the precise nature of the gravitic anomalies, and surely what you must all see is that in the process of hiding this information, you're allowing pirates to not only hijack your ships, but to continue doing so in increasing numbers. You're all profit-minded individuals. You've all got your claims to this space, but really you must understand that your bickering is allowing the pirates to interrupt all of your business. Quite frankly, never mind past safe path directly to where the minerals are. Surely, if you cross-reference just the gravitic anomalies, seeing where they are, not necessarily where they aren't, by collecting that data together, you could potentially look into some information as to what may or may not be causing them, and as a result, potentially find a solution to this problem and get back to the mining you want to be doing without the risk of pirates potentially, especially if they've been making use of these gravitic anomalies. So as such, really, if you pull all of these information together, it could really be quite useful. And she will attempt to kind of persuade them into actually starting to collect and compare this data.
Cool. That was a very convincing speech. Why don't you give me a difficulty 5 intellect roll?
Would this be persuading? Because I am trained in persuasion.
It certainly is, so that brings it down to difficulty 4. Do you have any other equipment or skills that could help you out?
Not at the moment, I don't think.
It's difficulty 4.
Oh,
Ooh,
Take an XP. And you may give an XP to another member of your party.
Let's give it to the person taking the effort to hack.
cool.
I think as a result of the GM intrusion, I think the various entities speak up. I think you get that is quite logical. Processing, and as I think the two people from Mineral stand up, kick back their chairs, and as a result go, "Yeah, bro, we're not staying here to get insulted anymore. We're gonna go and get the minerals while these two argue over it. We're gonna take what we can and get out of here." And the representatives from Mineral leave. Ezekiel slams his hand on the table again, and if tobacco is allowed in this room, he would be spitting it into a spittoon. Well, see, I bet you're working with them. Look at that, you're giving them a head start, and I'm still stuck here in my conference room. You third-party arbitration, my ass. And he like pulls out his comm device and starts tapping away.
Can Ziegler at this point just start whispering into the robot's ears? So, if you've got a pirate problem, why not just add more gun? If you've got a gravitation problem, just add more thrusters. It's that easy. And he starts looking really smug with himself as he starts walking off as if he's solved the issue.
One of the two of them that isn't calculating will turn to you on that comment and go, "Truly, you would be a valued member of the collective." End sarcasm.
Ziegler doesn't hear that. He's so smug with himself. He's solved the issue.
Very good.
Goes up and leans against this poster there.
Yeah, back to Bodwin as you're sat at the reception terminal. The two guys from Mineral both give you a double finger guns as they walk past and leave the room. Their coats swaying behind them.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah, and I think you can give me a difficulty. You're an employee, so you're already like one step there. I think it's difficulty 4 to get access to what you're looking for.
Cool. So I'll use risk computer to bring that down to 3.
Yep.
And I apply my hacker special ability, which I don't think technically would just gives me information that's on this device, but can I use it for like a reduction for this role?
Yeah, your skills as a hacker definitely help reduce it, along with your risk computer.
Cool. So that's down to a 2.
Yeah.
And I will spend some effort as well to.
Cool. Brings it down to a 1. Success. Yep. So you managed to find access from the DAC as regards the asteroid belt. You get a list of the mining ships that are operating out there. You gain the code of the day to go and land at the mining facility on one of the larger asteroids. You have access to like mineral records and mining records, and if you have a look, you can see that around 3 years ago the yield was very high, and then over the last 6 months or so, it's been increasingly reduced, and the profit reports are starting to slide from the profitable into the it's costing us more to go out and mine there. What are we still doing? You see an attached email chain from some higher people in DAC talking about whether they want to sell their mineral rights to one of the other groups and get out while they can. And a lot of people replying that why should they have to leave? The others should give them their rights. And there's a big corporate argument going on around the asteroid belt.
Perfect.
I think the final email in the chain is from Ezekiel talking about his strategy for the meeting today, which is trying to convince the others that it's so perilous that they should just give DAC the rights and leave and give DAC the entire belt to themselves.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, one will copy all of that onto their risk computer, log out of everything that they're not supposed to log into, and unplug. I guess looks up at the table. It was like these two have gone. These two guys have walked off, and I think one will go stroll back over to the table, and like, so he's the guy who's from DZ is like basically texting people, and the robots are just non-responsive.
One of them is responding and looking around, and the other one has like a loading bar in its eyes.
Cool.
Yeah. You know, well, I don't see what the use is for sticking about here much longer. We got these two chuckle fucks doing whatever they're doing in their cybernetic head. I don't know if it's a head or what, but I can't let Manuel get there before we do. It seems like these negotiations have come to an end.
Whittle will, rather than letting him walk off, will start to talk to him and say, well, you see, actually, it does make sense to stay here and talk regardless, even if there are only two people here, because potentially you can come to an agreement between those two parties. And as she rambles on and on, I use the skill Enthrall. While you're talking, you grab and keep another creature's attention, even if the creature can't understand you, for as long as you do nothing but speak.
Very cool.
And that's cost 1, but I will use my intellect edge to cost 0.
Correct, yeah. You get to do that for free.
Yes. And so she would just keep talking.
Yeah. Is that right? I had never thought about it in that way before. Well, my poppy said don't count your chickens before they're hatched, and I should have known because some of those eggs had 4 chickens, believe it or not. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. How many chickens did your family raise? Did you have a whole variety of chickens?
Much left after Thanksgiving. I'll tell you that much. We had everybody around to the farm. It was a small world. The climate always too warm, like jungle in there. But anyway, my brothers always said that. Well, I was the smallest of the 4, you see, and he'll go on into his life story, growing up on a rural farm in DAC, buying their land from them, and you learn all about Ezekiel Acres' past and how he became a miner, and then quote unquote lawyer. Not that DAC has many of those. I think give me an intellect roll difficulty. You've enthralled him. Difficulty 2.
Rolling great.
Okay, cool. So he mentions something in passing about the asteroid belt, but you don't pick up on anything of significance.
Yeah, I'm now devoted to just keeping this man here. On to the rest of you.
And the cyborg with loading bars in its eyes pings and goes, "Calculations complete. We agree the proposed course of action is logical. Where did Mineral go?"
They went to go mining.
This is illogical. We were scheduled to discuss for another tick 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 52 minutes. Yeah, like Ezekiel, what do you believe? He goes, "Shut up, Tin Head, I'm talking." Yeah, so as I was saying, the nitrogen in the soil, if you look at it really, the way that the life cycle works is these worms genetically enhance, you see, thanks to Grandpappy.
So the robot guys, I keep forgetting the name of what they're actually called.
Lena Fiatha or something.
Alina Fiaffa. Yeah, I can put it in the chat.
Cool. So yeah, so see, are they cybernetic like life forms, or are they actually like full-on robots?
I don't think you can tell. I mean, it's hard to tell if there's anything fleshy inside or if they're purely robot.
Okay.
All of their surface is robot. At least you don't see any biological components on the surface. Yep. Unless anything else happens, Ezekiel will stay stood talking to Whittle until Whittle lets them go, and the robots will stick around for the next 54 minutes until the scheduled time is over.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether or not Lauren will like just upload a load of the some of the information that they've got hold of to the robots,
Yeah.
or if Lauren has decided that they want to leave. I can't figure out which way I want to go on that.
But from the data that you have, I don't think you've got any like graphitic anomaly readings or sensor data, but you do have the routes that the ships of DAC have been taking. So you don't know where the anomalies are or what their strength, but you know at least one safe path to and from the DAC facility.
Yeah.
I mean, Ziegler might just start charging back over again and try and intimidate one of the Elenas for no good reason. I mean, he stormed over there for no good reason and is storming back. And he's going to try and intimidate one of them.
Back to the table, you hear a familiar whir as this area that you stood in. A Roomba pops out of one of the pillars and hoovers up the dusty footprints that you left over in the less traveled.
God. I don't know. Does Ziegler notice this? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Ignore me charging back up. He starts walking over, sees the Roomba, and then charges back at the pillar head first. He's just absolutely punching the wall.
Make a difficulty 5 speed check for me, please. All right, you make it in time. You manage to get there before the Roomba retreats back into its vent.
I pick it up with two hands and snap it in half and throw it across the room. Have my hands in the air, like victory has been achieved.
Yeah, there's a sparking. As you snap it in half in front of your face, you end up covered in dust from inside the Hoover that you've just snapped in front of yourself. You end up absolutely filthy, and the parts snap and whir. It's one of its wheels falls out onto the floor before you throw the halves away. But yeah, you successfully destroy a Roomba.
I'm screaming at this point in utter jubilation that I've destroyed the enemy.
I think the electronic people at the table hear the snap of electronics and they go, "He is working for DAC. He clearly is biased against electronic life forms."
It's less electronic life forms and more Hoovers.
This
He's a
is illogical.
He's a very simple being.
I'm still screaming at this point.
We are adding this to the records of the Elena Fiafa.
You should make sure to record them against him specifically and not against all members of the Knights of the E.
Understood. We accept the third-party arbitration as specified in the negotiation contract. Unless anyone else wants to do something, the meeting comes to an end in about 40 minutes with them just repeating the conversation and both of them cursing out Mineral for getting up and leaving and ignoring the negotiations.
I'm gonna try and speak to Bloodwin and see if he can, like, ask him like what you got from the.
I've got, but like just to a station, but it's not.
So he's trying to say quietly to if we give it to the Elena for the affair in exchange, we can get their information from them. See if we can build up a bigger picture.
It's possible.
We can let the meeting go and try and contact them after.
Yeah, so I guess we let the meeting go, and like after they're leaving, ping a message to like. Do the individual members of the Elena Fiafa have like, I guess, accounts that I could message, or is it like a corporate account type deal that I have to send something to?
I don't think you know, but you can certainly ask the self-identified legal negotiator for.
Yeah. Okay, I ask for contact details for both. Actually, at the table, I ask for contact details for both them and Ezekiel in negotiations.
The pair of robots will electronically transmit to you an email string that it looks like an IP address at elenafiafa.org or whatever. It's not personalized. It's just a big alphanumeric string, and then Ezekiel Aker goes, "Yeah, it's Big Traxel Landlover 69 at dac.com." He'll give you his corporate email address.
Yeah, I record those as like so I can send the messages, and then basically as soon as the meeting's over, I will send a message to the Elena Fiafa address that I go up, asking what information, saying that I might have some information from DAC if they would be willing to trade their information for it.
Well, I think we skip a little bit. The conference comes to an end. The Ezekiel sees you all out and heads back into his office, grumbling about tin heads and yuppies. And you're all left. Maybe you sat around the entrance to the Arboretum in Hub 2 as you send off this message to Elena Fiafa. And I think you get an automated response pretty much immediately saying, "Thank you for your contact to Elena Fiafa. You may get in touch with us at," and it gives you like a list of several locations around the center system in various asteroid belts. It looks to be some kind of mining operation within the hex. You also get the information that Elena Fiafa is an autonomous collective powered by Elena Fiafa, and it's a capital ship somewhere in the hex that is coordinating all of these efforts. And you can learn that they are associated with Tahorify, who you would know as one of the larger political bodies within the sector. You would know that they often operate in collectives of AI or cybernetic individuals, and more likely they're being controlled by some hub intelligence on the capital ship. And this is all like on their public information page.
Mm-hmm.
When the meeting did end, Whittle definitely ended by saying to Ezekiel that she admires his wide tracts of land and picks up the half of the Roomba.
Very good. Sure, you can put half of a Roomba into your inventory. Broken Roomba, something like that.
So, yeah, having sent that message and got the kind of automated response that has no information in it other than like I don't know, kind of directly relevant information, I guess London will turn back to Leofric and say, well, it doesn't seem that they're checking the mailbox directly, because that's a very generic message they sent back.
I think Whittle's com pings with an invitation to drinks from Ezekiel Aker for some time next week.
She might even take him up on that.
I think the email is something like, I ain't ever met no Quaddle that I like before, but you're something else. Let me tell you about Pappy's Farm again sometime over drinks. Signed Ezekiel. Lawyer for DAC.
As ironic as it sounds, she's probably actually interested in the entire thing he was saying about farms.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
not much to go on.
No. However, if we wanted to follow this path and use this code, we could get into the asteroid belt and into DAC's mining facility. Might be able to find out something more there.
Yeah, maybe. My suspicion is that one of the groups is responsible for the gravitic anomalies and is pushing them towards one or the other groups to like get them more
to leave or whatever.
Yeah, but I haven't got a clue. Like, yeah.
It's certainly possible, if nothing else, finding out what's causing those anomalies might be worth something in and of itself, and for scientific knowledge, if not material wealth.
If we could figure out what the gravitic anomaly is and stop it from happening, I do believe that we could get them to actually parcel out the land again. But like, yeah, without that happening, it's just going to keep happening, and no one's going to be stable. So.
Well, I think the mining. If we can't resolve the mining dispute without the other parts of this contract, I think we should do those first, and I think both of them require us to actually approach the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
So I hope you're up to piloting your ship through some dangerous gravitic anomalies.
If we've got the map, it should be helpful, at least.
Yeah, well, we have a map for one part of it. We might need to go somewhere where I don't have a map for.
Yeah, true.
We'll see. So, yeah, I guess we make our way to the CS Wanderer.
Yeah.
While you're on the station, does anyone have, while we have a little bit of downtime, does anyone have XP that they would like to spend, or money that they'd like to spend while they're on TTGI before they head out to the dock bay?
I already used my 4 XP to do the advancement to get another edge in speed.
Cool, moving toward perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Anyone else have advancements that they like to do? When you have 4 XP, you can make an advancement, and when you have 4 advancements, you can go up to the next tier. Oh, everyone goes on equipment and stuff.
Well, I'd like to see if there's a shop that could potentially sell a jetpack.
This is a TCGI station. You can get basically anything you want on the TCGI station.
Is there a back alley salesperson for like a second-hand or broken, dodgy stuff? Because that's imagine where Ziegler would go first.
Not really any alleyways as such on the station. You'd more be looking at like underneath deck plating where
What, the underhive?
yeah, basically where different life support machinery is, maintenance ducts, things like that. Not so much alleys between buildings, because space is at a premium, even though it is a very large station. But I think that you could probably find either in Hab 6, which is the recreation station, or in Hab 7, which is industrial development. I think you could look in either of those places for...
I think Hab 7 probably where I'd go for this.
Sure. Let me check 1 second. Yep, so it's Hab 7, and it's if the station was a clock with Hab 12 at the top, Hab 7 is in the position of 7 on a clock. So you make your way over from Hab 2. It's a pretty long journey. I don't know if you're running along the outside of the station again, or you're taking the transports.
Yeah, running around the edge with such centripetal force that I'm on the wall.
Yep, you can make your way to Hab 7. As you walk in, you'll note that there's not a lot of tourists here. It's a lot of people on the job. But there's a lot of manufacturers and fabricators, but the bulk of it is recycling facilities. There's big cartloads of broken electronics and components and raw materials being dragged into these places that crunch them down, grind them up into their base components, and then spit them out again for the manufacturers to use to build new equipment from.
Can I toss the remnants of that Roomba that I decided to smash up for some reason into one of the piles?
Yep, the half of the Roomba that you have, you can toss into a recycling bin as it goes past. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I've got rid of that. I don't know why I was holding on to it for that. Yeah, so is there some sort of representative around where you could potentially buy some scrap off people, or?
I mean, I think you can definitely find some kind of front office for one of these facilities. You can find someone sat at a desk of some kind.
Yeah, so I burst into one of these offices, almost knock the door off its hinges, and start demanding a jetpack off the representative or whoever's inside the office.
A jetpack?
Yeah, you know what I mean. One of those things that makes you fly.
Listen, mate, if you want 200 tons of raw copper, I can give you that, but a jetpack?
Well, can't you fashion one out of this 200 tons of copper?
Tell you what, I'll give you the copper for some money, and you make it yourself.
How much copper can I get for? I present a bag with 2,000 individual Howl cred sticks.
Sorry, how exactly do you intend on taking a receipt of this raw material, might I ask, sir?
I'll just carry it.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not gonna sell to you today.
Damn hippie. Give me the copper.
Security. You have the maglocked boots of station security plunking outside.
What you call these guys in for?
So I've asked you to leave. This is my business, and you are invited to walk out that door, sir.
All I've done is come in, offer you business, and then you refused it. I've done nothing wrong.
Goodbye, sir. Good day talking to you. And the doors swing open, and two individuals holding stun sticks and wearing big mirrored helmets with the badge of TTGI security open the door. Step this way, if you please.
I mean, I'm swearing at them, but I decide to walk out the door. I kick a
Sure.
bin over as I walk out.
I think it looks like out of a duct comes it's kind of a small humanoid robot, but between two arms there's a spinning brush. It's not so much a Roomba as it is a tiny android. Walks out, sees the knocked over bin, and its head bows and goes, As you see the mess that you've just dumped all over the floor.
Alright, are the guards looking at me at this point?
Yes, they're watching you leave. They're inviting you to leave Hab 7 and not return.
How much trouble would I get in if I ran over to that humanoid robot?
How much trouble do you think you'd get in if you ran over and destroyed the robot after being asked to
I'm going to
leave?
go and run over and destroy the robot. Or attempt to. It's got
Sure,
nothing-
give me give me a difficulty 5 speed check.
Fuck.
Yeah, you don't manage to stomp over to the robot in time. It scurries back into the vent from which it came, and the security run after you, and now they will grab you each by under one arm and attempt to politely escort you back to either Hab 8, which is security, sanitation, and support, or Hab 6, which is the recreation station.
Right, okay. This is unsuccessful. Right, I'm willingly going. I say willingly. I'm being carried by them in effect.
Yeah, they escort you to the door and then use their bodies to block you from re-entering without barreling through them.
Are there any scrap heaps outside of Hab 7? Like, is there anything externally, or is it all kept quite neatly inside of it?
No, there's like around the corners of the corridors. There's like scraps of wire and chunks of slag metal, and yeah, I mean it's not dirty, but there's like the detritus of lots of bins of loose material being moved around.
Can I try and rifle through one of them to see if there's anything of interest in? Or is it not?
Sure. Give me. I think as you're being escorted out, I think this task of looking around is a speed check. Just give me a generic speed roll. See how high you get.
What difficulty?
Just no difficulty. We see how high you roll.
Okay.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, I think you can manage to find like maybe a foot of copper wire and maybe 100 grams of pig iron.
Yeah, I'll take both of those. I mean, I was asking for copper anyway, so in Ziegler's mind, this is a victory.
There you go.
There we
You
go.
have 1 foot of copper wire and 100 grams of pig iron.
That's my
Which is
intention.
just
I'm sure
like-
that'll come into.
Yeah, it's like
That's going to be super useful.
small lump of metal and a stretch of thin wire. Yeah.
Cool. In the meantime, I think Logan had some difficulties being in close range with their long rifle on the last mission they were on. So I think, would there be someone on the station who would be selling Starlit Court weaponry?
I think if you look around, you can find someone selling anything. But for specifically Starlit Court weaponry, I think that's luck of the day to see if anyone from the Starlit Court is in the station. So just give me a difficulty 3 intellect roll, and if you're successful, someone from the Starlit Court is there. If not, then no one's on the station that day. Cool. Yep. You managed to find someone without issue. And as a minor effect, I think they just so happen to be on the way as you're going to the ship anyway. They like catch the corner of your eye, like, oh, that I recognize that heraldry. That's Starlit Court.
It's Order of the Forge or something.
Forge House Cellar. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I think Robin will wander up and start looking around, and I'm pretty much just want to buy the auto pistol that you have in the equipment list. I just want to flavour it with Starlit Court stuff. So.
Yep. Do you buy any ammunition for it as well?
Yes, because I assume my long rifle ammunition won't fit, unless
Yeah.
they are both Order of the Forge weapons, so it's possible they have matching ammo.
I think without some conversion of either the pistol or the rifle, they're using different calibers. I don't think the barrel will accept within long rifle rounds in the auto pistol. If you spend whatever the auto pistol costs in the equipment list, and then also an inexpensive item for 50 rounds for the pistol.
So inexpensive, I assume, is how much? 250?
Yeah, 250. Yeah.
Cool. So that's 1,000 for the rifle, for the gun, and then 250 for the ammo. Cool. Yeah.
As a member of the penumbra of society, you know how to find the people who are willing to sell weapons to people of your caliber. No pun intended. Yeah.
Whittle, for her part, will try to find someone selling a bag of heavy tools, preferably with the Queltal ability to be used underwater, but if not, then at least in a waterproof casing.
Heavy tools tend to be like big wrenches and socket hammers, and I don't think there's anything preventing those from being used underwater other than the physics of trying to swing a hammer underwater. I think you can find a bag of heavy tools without issue. Yeah.
And that should be 500.
I think you can actually buy one from the space docks when you get there. Like the maintenance department will sell you. You know, they sell the new windscreen wiper blades and the little air freshener trees, and also a bag full of wrenches and bolts and washers and.
Nice.
Yeah. The bag of heavy tools. Let me check the equipment list. Bag of heavy tools costs 500 howl.
Yes, precisely what I have.
The inscription is a variety of heavy tools for substantial tasks, which is very generic, but will apply in many situations. Cool. Yeah. So you all managed to make your way to the CS Wanderer. Ziegler, as usual, later than everybody else, and he comes. I think Leo Fritsch, as you're sitting at your command chair or looking at the information, I think it notes that Ziegler has several minor infractions on the station and warning you that you have a potential criminal on board as he steps on, and then you get an automated ping from the station saying, "Warning, Frederick Ziegler, associated with," and it has a list of like bar fights and petty larceny and damage to station property. Yeah. Ziegler's made a name for himself.
A few more additions than last time.
Yeah.
Why do you always?
It's not a surprise.
As we see, as the camera pans and we see Ziegler clunking onto the CS Wanderer and panning around and seeing everyone else already ready inside, I think we can take a break. 10-minute break, come back at 1:15.
Don't you do?
Become healthier. Become stronger. Become smarter. Become better. At New Eden Gene Bank, we offer plans and opportunities for people like you who want to break their limits and rise to new heights. Visit your local branch today for a consultation. New Eden Gene Bank. Be a better you. Proud sponsors of BBTV.
Feeling a little stressed? Want to relax? Come to Cardicook. We've got everything you need.
Right, so the camera pans back in, and CS Wanderer has left its moorings and headed off with course set to 250 Mark 89. Leo Fritsch, you know exactly what this means. You can plug it in, especially with the information from DAC. You can follow the course, and swiftly as you approach the asteroid belt, you find yourself flying through the equivalent of major shipping lines in today's oceans. You quickly find yourself these huge industrial barges. You're finding an increasing frequency as you head towards. You can see the asteroid belt stretching out in the distance, just at the edge of your optical view, but definitely on sensors you can ping all of the large orbital bodies caught in extreme orbit of Telas. On the eastern section, and moving away from the FTL gate in the sector, which your sensors are pinging busily behind you, the steady stream of traffic to and from the giant wheel clock-like TTGI station. Yeah, you're getting pings, and you can see these barges from various entities, not just the three you've met. Everyone coming from Sector East is coming past you towards the TTGI station, full of various minerals deposits. They're venting gases into space and liquids, which are, once they hit atmosphere, are crystallizing and somewhat pretty even whenever they vent sewage or other liquids into space. It crystallizes. Yeah, you amongst these giant barges as you head towards the asteroid belt.
I just want to keep the sensors going all the time and trying to look out for anything that's any of the gravity disturbances or anything that's unusual or any sort of, just constantly keep refreshing them and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Leifert just sat in the pilot's chair. What's everyone else doing on this transit?
I think Ziggy's sorry, you go ahead.
I think Blog's probably sat helping with the sensors, seeing as moving is piloting. So, yeah, lending some of the technical expertise to the goal of looking for anything off, gravity-wise, pirates, anything like that.
Little is probably also in the cockpit, but while they're looking for things that are useful, she's spending her time looking for things that are interesting and comparing the stars with her astronomy book, and more interested in the wonder of it all than what they're particularly looking for.
Cool. And finally, hooligan Ziegler, what are you doing on board?
Well, from the layout, you see those closets at the back. I just imagine there's some banging and you hear some camp. Oh, go on, love. Yeah. That kind of talk in there. You're not sure what's going on, but he might be on the phone.
Very good. Okay, cool. Yep, you managed to... It's at the sublight speed you're going, pushing, but not quite ever being able to go over without engaging an FTL drive. You're informed it takes around 2 to 4 hours, depending on traffic and the TGDI station control telling you to adjust your relative latitude to allow larger ships to go by on the direct path. But in the course of several hours, you start seeing smaller asteroids. You start getting proximity alerts, and dust pings off the shields from time to time. And swiftly, you find yourself amongst larger and larger comets and asteroids and orbital bodies as you approach, and you can see buzzing like drones amongst the various asteroids. You can see mining vehicles and barges and things of that nature as you approach the asteroid field. As expected, you register ship transponders from Elena Fiaffa, from Mineral, and from DAC, from the Agricultural Consortium. And there are the message buoys that you would have on your map, Bloodwin. Comparing to the sensors, you can see they're all out of place. They're not in straight lines anymore. They're zigzags. Some just scattered like random points on a scatter graph. There's no clear distinctions anymore. Asteroids are not where the map tells you they should be, and there's a buzz of communication in the sector. All three of them warning you to get away. That the asteroid is their sovereign. The asteroids are their sovereign right. That warning you to get away. That unauthorized mining is not permitted.
Would I be able to take the map of their buoy positions I've got and like compare it to where they actually are, and like figure out like where the gravitic anomalies would have to have been to cause them to have moved that way?
Oh, I think that is an intellect 5 roll.
Cool.
Intellect difficulty 5. You can use the information you have from DAC as an asset, so difficulty 4.
Cool. I would. Can I use my wrist comp as an asset?
I think that or the sensors of the ship that you're on itself would both count as an asset too, so difficulty 3, yep.
Don't think any of my skills really fit. So I think it's going to have to be difficulty 3, and I will spend an effort. I will spend an effort. 3, 1 on effort.
Success with a minor effect.
Get 19 for the last one as well.
Hmm?
Said you got 19 for the last one as well, and you rolled more 19.
Yeah, I only roll 19s.
I think you can identify and send to Leofridge's navigation that not only the safe path that you discovered from DAC, but also the adjusted safe path, considering the movement of the message buoys, noting where some have moved in the... it'd be about 12 hours. The information that you have is about 12 hours old. And you can note the changes since then and adjust the safe path. And
Cool.
Also note some areas where it's likely that they've been. Actually, Leofridge as well, and Whittle, you'd notice this. You can feel like the random vibrations of deck plates, and like the traction is, it's not traction, but you feel like your guidance is slightly off, and occasionally the sensors will ping, and it's from. You get warnings sometimes for like. It warns you about a gravitic anomaly, and then immediately goes away after like a second, or you'll feel like what feels like a small impact on part of the ship, and when you check, there's nothing there. You've just been shifted, and you can theorize that small gravitic anomalies that you might be bumping into, like pebble-sized areas of distortion.
There doesn't seem to be any pattern to it or anything. It's just completely random.
There's no pattern, but they do seem to be coming in at regular intervals. So you'd
Okay.
note that it's always an exact number of seconds between them. It's like if you whittle paying attention to what's interesting, you'll never know. It's never like you hit one and then 2.5 seconds later you hit another. It's always an exact number of seconds.
Interesting, very interesting indeed.
Would this strike us as being? It is definitely like a sentient person who's doing this. This isn't a natural occurrence due to the kind of exact second effect.
And it could be a marker of it being artificial, or it could be a marker of it being something like a quasar, where the pulses or whatever is causing it being a natural effect that decays or initiates at a set rate. You can't tell for certain, but yeah, it is at least somewhat precise. You can theorize that it's not caused by something random. You can probably theorize that there is a cause that's because it's so regular. There's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a quirk of space. It's
With that being the case of this regular pattern that is coming in, and now that we're actually here, could we like have a look at the sensors to try and see if or at least come up with a hypothesis as to whether this is a kind of natural occurrence, like something that you would expect somewhere in space, or is it like completely different from that?
you can compare against like the phenomena you have in your astrology book, I think, and if Bloodwind helps you out with the sensors, I think that's going to be difficulty 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can compare it to some anomalies like being in the vicinity of a black hole, which I think it'd be more
Okay.
obvious to you if you were.
Yeah.
I drop an XP to have that rerolled.
You can have a go as well, coming at it from the other angle rather than your astrology book. Yeah, looking at the sensors.
If I do it, do I need to spend the XP?
No, you don't. You can also just have a go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was difficulty 6.
Yes.
And that was with the help and all that.
If you have something that isn't the astrology book or the sensors to help you out, then you can reduce the difficulty further.
So both of those are assets. So it would have to be a skill.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a relevant skill, so it would be 6.
Could I assist with like my
Your sensor skill? Yep, certainly.
yeah, just yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can knock it down to a 5, yep.
Cool. And then I guess spend an effort.
Yeah.
19s or 18s.
Yeah.
Only crits.
Rolling hot. I think that you can identify that while it could be a natural phenomena, anything that would cause this kind of regular pattern would be immediately obvious. It'd be a quasar, a neutron star, a black hole. It wouldn't be in a random asteroid belt. You can determine that this is not strictly natural. It could still be a natural process. You can't determine exactly what's causing it, obviously, but
we would expect it to be something big if it was natural, like you said, a black hole
Yeah.
or a
if it was a natural occurrence, it'd be increasingly obvious. Like your sensors would be pinging with way more than what they are.
Yeah, so it's obviously artificial, and they've hidden it somehow.
Yeah, it's either completely artificial or it's enhancing some natural phenomena. Yeah, you can guess that there is a sentient behind the anomalies for sure.
Is there anywhere in the asteroid belt that it's obviously not happening? Like it's like suspicious by the fact that there's no anomalies or no like changes to the boundaries or anything.
I think you can note that the closer to like the center of mass of the asteroid field it is, the larger it seems the disturbances are. Like kind of how the same way towards the edge of the asteroid field, the bodies were smaller, and then as you've gotten closer to the middle, the asteroids are bigger and bigger. So are the graphitic anomalies. The strongest disruptions in like the marker buoys of the territory of the three, they've been moved the furthest near the center.
So
If
that, so if you move the furthest, that would be where the effect is strongest, or possibly where the cause is.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
As well as like the ship transponders, you would note that on this isn't how far away they are in actuality, but for purposes, these three asteroids all have like either a station or an embedded facility from the three mining operations. Like there's a DAC mining facility, there is Lena Fiafa, and Mineral are those. Minerals is unlike the utilitarian metal of all the others. The one for Mineral is brightly colored and has holographic advertisements on the outside, auto-playing adverts, and you're being pinged with download Mineral and mine Irol coin. You know, it's bombarding you with auto-playing YouTube adverts.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, we can just fly towards the center and see if we can pick anything more up, or we can go to one of the stations, I suppose.
Well, we have the entrance code for the DAC.
AC one, yeah.
So yeah, we could do that. I'm not sure.
I don't know what else we'll get from them though, because
Yeah, information they have that would be relevant to us. I don't want to try and get in close. I think we should go to the centre first because we don't have to deal with them yet.
yeah.
if we're getting these like bigger and bigger effects, the closer to the center we go in, and we've seen that with where the boys are, could there potentially be some way to kind of try and calculate like where, if not exactly where, then like maybe where to head in order to see where the disruptions are biggest?
You don't have a direct path plotted to the center, but the DAC asteroid facility you can get to without any further like action or sensor reading taken.
Yeah.
You can probably calculate a safe path around the outside edge to the other side of the asteroid field as well if you avoided the center. You can get to various places. Going directly through the center, you don't know a safe path yet. You'd be risking hitting a larger anomaly if you did that currently.
So maybe we need to go to the other people's places to get their records so we can compare them to what we have. Only question being is how do we land there without being shot? And once we're in, can we get away long enough to get their records without them causing issues?
As you're coasting through the asteroid field here, one of the mineral mining ships that goes past pings you with a direct message inviting you to use their referral link to download the Mineral app. And that you get 15 free Ethereum coins, whatever those are. They can convert into real coins and just click the referral link and then invite your friends.
I'm 90% sure that the app is malware.
Yeah, it's going to steal all of my information and like, sell it.
What? Wouldn't app ever do that?
I'd like to set up a virtual machine on my wrist computer, download the app into it, see what it does.
You're downloading the app on your wrist computer?
I want to set up a virtual machine. And
Oh,
download
virtual machine. All right. Whatever memory you assign to the virtual machine is immediately maxed out at like 98%, and it seems to be calculating some kind of complex algorithm in the background behind your operating system.
Oh, yeah, but that's what mining looks like. But I think maybe you were like, whilst it's running, I'd like to just see if you're doing anything else other than doing that calculation, or if all it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a flashy app with like you can upload your profile. There's like a social media component. You can connect to other Mineral users. It gives you offers on like various coffee establishments, and it's a generic corporate app. Gives you like discounts on Mineral merchandise and links to their sponsors. But the main purpose, so far as you can determine with your skill in machining, is that it mines the blockchain in the background. It mines this ERL coin.
Yeah, I get bored with it within 5 minutes and then delete the virtual machine.
Yeah, you can add 0.01 of an ERL coin to your inventory.
In 5 years, that might be worth like, yeah.
Yeah.
How stable is this currency?
Would it be possible to try and spoof a message back so that when they click it, rather than downloading Ethereum on their computer, it would kind of try and get their information for the asteroid field?
But also like to download an app that will use their machine to mine coin for me.
I mean, maybe that too.
If you'd like to hail this mineral ship, you certainly can.
Maybe speaking to some lower downs will be better because they won't have the.
Yeah, but we don't have the gas man who can just summon information out of nowhere.
Nikora's on another assignment during this time, unfortunately.
Well, I do have the ability to spin identity to pretend to be something I'm not. Could pretend to be a mineral employee and checking their records.
Or that we've been hired by Mineral to and we need like
that too.
I mean, we are technically. Do we know who put the contract out for the independent negotiator that we are putting the role as?
It was TTGI authorities who initially owned and auctioned the mining rights, and were increasingly. It's not the higher ups at TTGI. It's one of the corporate subsidiaries that deals with this particular asteroid field that put out an open bounty looking for third-party arbitration. And as in the message, Agent Handler Wolf is accepting the bounty on your behalf and then converting the value to Howell and taking his cut. So they don't know that they've hired free agents. They think they're contracting out to some subsidiary arbitration team, and it's the Agent Handler has taken this on the surface up and up job and made it into a free agent job.
Yeah, I just wanted to. So we technically have records showing that we are hired by TTGI then.
Yep, as far as anyone is concerned, you are third-party arbitrators from a company that specializes in that. They don't know that you're actually a bunch of ne'er-do-wells.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we don't need to, we don't necessarily need to spoof a record. We just need to be able to convince them that as a result of that,
Minor will want to give us the information that we're after.
yeah, we just need to convince this random ship captain that he should give us the information we need without talking to his bosses.
Yeah, we can try.
The design of the ship, of the mineral ship, looks like a rocket that a child might draw. It's all smooth curves and with like a big round. It's not actually a window, it's for aesthetic purposes, but a big round single window in the side of it with like bright yellow fins and this bright red rocket. It's very obnoxious. It has like at the front part, it has a spike that extends with a big ball on the end that is presumably sensors of some kind. Yeah, it looks like the typical rocket that a child might draw, but it's covered in mineral logos and yeah. Which is a stylistic mine exclamation point IRL.
They're such amazing artists and graphic designers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, straight out of 2003.
Cool. Yeah. Was Whittle want to confuse and discombobulate?
Yeah, I can go ahead and try. Use my spin identity to contact this ship and claim that we are the people hired to sort this mess out, and as a result, we require the information on the gravitic effects that they have, which cost 2, edge of 1 for intellect, so it costs 1.
I think, so on the radio you get, "Hey, this is the captain, chillax. What's up, mineral fans? Remember to like and subscribe. What can we do for you today?"
Hey hoo, buckaroo, you see, we gotta pump those numbers up, you see, and as a result, we gotta make sure everything's all tip-toppity here. So we need your information on the gratific effects, so we can get this whole shebang sorted out real quick and get those subscribers up.
That sounds like a jivey idea, my froopy dude. Let's circle the wagons and synergize on this, and we'll send over our data to help you out. And yeah, you get you've deciphered the corporate speak and presented yourself as enough of a mineral friend. I think that this is a difficulty 0 task for you, using your ability, and this captain not being the most discerning. You get pinged with their information, and you get some. Especially if you overlay it with the DAC information that Bloodwind has, you get a clearer map of where the gravitic anomalies are. They're all perfectly spherical, so far as you can tell, with a clear origin point. And you will note that none of the gravitic anomalies have gone to any of the 3 major facilities. Like, none of the main asteroids have been touched by them. Seem to be avoiding, well, not actively avoiding, but for whatever reason, they have not hit the larger asteroids, just the space in between, or the spaces around. Yeah, you have a much clearer idea of safe paths through the area. And the mineral ship burns off on its way, and a bright yellow mining laser lances out to whichever rocket it was going to next.
Now, with this information, a hypothesis perhaps, if this is indeed being caused by someone, it seems like they are indeed invested in making sure that the mining operations are, well, still ongoing in spite of the gratific effects.
It would make the pirates that want to prey on them.
Yeah. Have we noticed any pirate activity when we come in. There hasn't been any like what they call it, Mayday calls or anything like that, has there, or anything?
If you're actively looking for it now, you will note that some bodies that you previously took to be asteroids on the sensor pings, if you look up, there are wrecks of ships around, and distress beacons that have since run out of power or have been switched off. And there are signs of ships have been in distress in this area recently, and none since the time you arrived a few hours ago, but yeah, there has definitely been combat and pirate activity in this area over the last few weeks.
Great.
Like
with
this battle map is quite condensed for purposes of visuals, but all of this is much further apart than it seems. So if a ship was trapped behind in the shadow of an asteroid, it would be some time before help could arrive.
Yeah.
so with the new records that we have, can we see a safe path to the center?
Yep, you could probably. I don't think it's possible to completely avoid, but you could find the path where you would only go through like one at a time. You wouldn't go through any overlapping spheres, so whatever gravitic effect that was upon you, you could probably compensate for with a little difficulty. Yeah, you won't go through any opposite effects or combining effects.
Rip us apart or anything like that.
Yeah, you'll be able to go through one anomaly at a time. You can plot a path. It's not exactly safe, but
It's safer.
safer. Yeah.
No, nothing is safe in space. Yeah, we try and plot a course then towards the center and try and see if we can see anything when we get closer in.
Sure. I think it's going to be a difficulty. I think the base for this is a difficulty 5 piloting check for you, Leofridge, to be able to follow the safe path accurately while in this area of turmoil.
Can I help with sensors?
Yep, you definitely help with sensors as one asset. Brings it to a 4.
Would my astronomy book provide any assistance?
I don't. Given we've ruled out it being a natural phenomena, I don't think that your book has any information that helps with this particular piloting task. No.
Okay.
Yeah, no already trains. That always does. That already does that. Would I be able to just use no, it's already in my training as being the pilot, isn't it? Already.
Yeah, you can make this check.
Could my gyro design thing? Would that help?
You certainly can use that Cypher. Yeah, absolutely.
So that would make it a 3 then. Yeah.
Yeah, the advanced gyroscope that you've hooked into your ship.
Yeah, hooked it into the ship, and
yeah, you definitely activate that.
Hmm.
Think as it was, it like your main piloting panel. Think like blinks black for a second, and the symbol for the arc light comes up for a second, and it tries to activate as if you were an automated drone before it clicks that that's not what's going on, and like engages the gyroscope, and you manage to tell it the parameters that it's working within.
So I'm going to use an effort as well.
Cool. Difficulty 2.
Hey.
Cool. Major effects.
Not only can you plot a safe path to the center where you move through a sphere of gravitic anomaly where it is a mild push outwards, which when you reach the halfway point, you have to shift the way that you're compensating because it's no longer pushing you away, it's pushing you forward. So you have to adjust the compensation for your sensors. But you can see that the safe path is going to lead you between 2 larger asteroids, and within which you get a sensor ping that there is a ship waiting between those asteroids, and it's not broadcasting a transponder. You get the ping of metal rather than the ping of rock off your sensors. You can tell that. Yeah, between these 2 asteroids in the center of the belt, there is there is a ship awaiting that isn't broadcasting.
Is it time for us to shout for Sir Frederick to come and man the weapons?
I think I'm still in the cupboard at this point.
Well, if you want to reverse your course and not be seen by the ship, you certainly have a chance.
Do we want to avoid that ship, or do we think that ship might be the pirate thing we have to deal with?
Do we get a sense of how big? Like, is it like vastly bigger than our ship, or is it like similar size? Like,
You would be able to register that it's not significantly larger than your ship, maybe like a third bigger, 33% bigger. You can't get an exact read on life signs due to shielding, etc., but you would know that it's no less than 10 and probably no more than 20 is the bioscan feedback that you get.
Could we perhaps investigate the possibility of shifting the asteroids to potentially make some friendly contact with said ship?
I mean, at this point, we are just assuming that the ship is a pirate ship, right?
if it's got no transponder on and it's like sitting there hidden, then I would expect it would be, because like any ship that's doing anything legal and would be
Cool.
telling people where they are.
And if it's not, we can claim ignorance.
We didn't know it was there.
Gravity anomalies and stuff.
Yeah, so go fly around to the side of one of the asteroids and push it.
Yeah, I don't know if the ship can do that.
You can definitely try.
Sure, why not?
But it's not broadcasting like a transponder or anything. There's not like I assume its Wi-Fi network is not accessible or anything like that.
If you ping it, then it's gonna know that you're there. If you start asking for information requests from its network, it's gonna go, hang on. Yeah, you would know that would definitely alert the ship to your presence if you actively start scanning them.
That seems unfair. But
I think,
if we want to go to the center, we have to go through here.
this is you can get a read on this is the kind of situation that you're approaching.
Yeah, and if we want to go there without like having to fly through dangerous anomalies, that's the way we have to go.
I think that you can suspect that I think from your sensor information you can see that the larger anomalies, this thing is waiting in the middle of them like a spider for anyone who gets caught by them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like if you look at the pattern of distress beacons that you've seen while they've like drifted away, you can see that it's mostly happened around this area of space.
Cool. So we think this is the pirates we have to deal with. It's possible that once we do, that might help resolve the Gravitic issue. Do we then want to have any evidence that we did that to help with negotiations?
Yeah. So either disabling the ship or at least leaving something left to it that we can point out that is what was causing it or something.
Could we also make a recording of the sensors that we got in order to see the ship being there in the first place?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or we could wait around until because I would have expected that they'll set off in a disturbance or something soon,
Yeah, we can hang around waiting for them to attack someone and
then jump out when.
Yeah, intervene.
So Yeah, what's the course of action?
Wait until someone triggers the trap, and then and whilst kind of recording the sensor feed, and then kind of help the like taking out the ship, hopefully, and at the same time getting evidence of the pirates.
Yeah, certainly. I think you can definitely position yourselves to stay in like the sensor shadow of this asteroid and not reveal yourselves to it there. I think 30 minutes passes and there's no change, although you can sense that the ship changes position every now and again to adjust and be hidden from mining ships that pass by. I think an hour goes by and you get various pings from traffic from DAC and Alina Fiafa. You see that it's ticked over to being around the equivalent of 9 p.m. within the center system, where obviously in space there's no day-night cycle, but the central clock is broadcasted its ping. You get the evening report from BBTV is available for viewing. I think 2 hours go by, and you notice a Alina Fiafa ship trundles by through one of the gravitic anomalies, and it goes right past the pirate ship, and the pirate ship doesn't attack it. And it just travels through the center without issue and goes to dock at the Alina Fiafa facility. Yeah, no other ships go near the center. You can see them avoiding. You see that DAC and Mineral are taking different routes, but are avoiding the same anomalies. Clearly, not communicating with each other, but somewhat aware. I think you also get, if you're monitoring comms traffic, I think you get a ping that goes out with the subject "See the Light," and it's from Pastor Regalia Springbok, and the body of the message is quite unusual to decipher. Talks about the heresy of the Ascent University on Icaros. It talks about how the afterlife is there, just waiting to be found. It seems like religious propaganda of some sort.
Yay. So we've now just proved that it looks like the Alina Fiafa are the ones that are doing this. Do we want to attack and then end up having to fight off all of the Alina Fiafa? Or do we want to go... we have the entry code to the DAC station, right? So we
You do, yep.
Show them the records and let them deal with the problem? Or do we want the fight?
Oh, probably important to mention, the ping from Pastor Regalia Springbok is from the DAC facility.
Yay.
Yep.
Would it potentially be a good idea to send the coordinates of the ship to the other parties involved, so that if they know where it is, if nothing else, whether they want to deal with it themselves or, well,
yeah, I guess we could. I don't have any contact information for Mineral, but I guess we could send. We could send a message to Whittle's new friend Ezekiel.
Let me see, what was there?
I think while you're waiting, the pirate ship powers up and it starts heading off in the wake of the Elena Fiafa mining vessel, and now also goes to dock at the Elena Fiafa facility on the underside, staying in the shadow of asteroids. So the center of the asteroid belt is now clear. I think while you watch it, goes off presumably for refueling or otherwise. And as it powers up and it moves past your sensors, you can get an exact read of 12 people on board, rather than the fuzzy 10 to 20 that it gave you before.
Cool. On the okay, so having done that, can we see now that the ship's gone? Can we see like something that would be causing the anomalies in that space that it's now left?
Give me a difficulty 4 check with the sensors.
Okay. Risk comp to make it easier.
Sure.
Um,
Using the data that you've collected, I think that's fair.
Cool. So that brings you down to a 3. And let's spend an effort. Barely a success, but a success.
That's a good thing.
Think that you can begin to note that pirate ship, definitely Elena Fiafa.
Yeah.
While the transponder's off, you've managed to get enough of a visual note to note that they are affiliated with and they've gone to the base. And I think you can note that the gravitic anomalies definitely seem to be favoring DAC ships more than the other two. That while presumably random, it seems that the paths to mineral-rich asteroids are easier for DAC than for either of the other two.
Okay, interesting.
With the caveat that this is really quite speculative. There is the potential here that there is some sort of conspiracy that multiple, perhaps even all of the people involved are in some ways sponsoring this to try and benefit themselves.
But we can't see anything that would be causing the gravitic anomalies.
No.
So is that ship gone now to dock into the station?
Yes,
or...
yeah, it's not on this map anymore. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you've just got the buzzing of mining ships nearby as you're, towards the center.
So yeah, now, so it looks like the DAC have some kind of influence on the gravitic problem, and
Elena Fiafa's just been using that to
to taking advantage of the situation.
I think as you're sat there, I think another hour goes by while you discuss and debate what's going on. You can definitely notice that the gravitic anomalies that you have on sensors are definitely getting weaker over time. Actually, some of them almost faded entirely as you approach the end of the day.
So it's a thing that happens at the start of the day and wears off.
You're approaching about 10 p.m. in terms of the hex time.
Do we want to just hang around and see if like we notice anything happening like towards the beginning of the day that would like?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good move. I was going to ask, if we've been sitting around for an hour, can I use my 1 hour recovery slot?
Certainly can. Yep.
Cool. That brings me back to full.
Yeah, actually, I'll do that because I used some edge stuff as well. He.
Everyone get a chance to R&R. And if you wait here further, just waiting for something to happen, as the clock strikes midnight, I need you to make a difficulty 6 piloting check.
Nice. Okay. uh, um, will any of our stuff help? Because if it's a new thing, like the maps don't help or anything like that.
You can have help from sensors if Bodwin's
Yeah.
on sensors helping you out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Whittle's observing patterns, they can probably help you as well for another asset.
So
I will
it's
go
two
ahead and do
assets.
that.
That's 2 drops of 4 by the sound of it.
I think
Does it work if you just put the assets in the input, rather than decreasing it when you put the difficulty in it? Just put 2 assets. Yeah.
Put them in as if they were effort.
I think also as
Oh.
the clock strikes midnight.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a second. As the clock strikes midnight, we also hear, I miss you too. I don't know what's got. The communication that we're hearing from the back of the ship is distorted and cut off.
As it cuts off, you hear Ziegler smash the door open angrily. Why is my communication being cut off?
You all feel yourselves shaked and rattled, but Leofrich manages to pilot without damage as your sensors go haywire, and the sensor information that you had before is completely changed. You find yourselves trapped in, if it was a Venn diagram, the point between 3 new graphitic anomalies that are much stronger than any that you've seen before. But Leofrich, through some deft piloting and help, manages to pilot safely without smashing into an asteroid or wrenching a thruster off. You manage to find yourself in the eddy of one of them, which is gently pushing you outwards towards away from the center.
Since I was on the sensors for that,
Yeah.
Would it be possible for me to detect where they came? Like what? Like, is there like a device that powered up that caused this to happen, or whatever that I could detect?
You can make a difficulty 4 intellect roll.
Cool. Using risk comp to make it one easier.
Yep, definitely.
Cool. Difficulty 3. Yeah, I don't think anything else applies, so I will just use that. Difficulty 3. Add. I've just recovered, so I'm going to spend an effort.
Success. As you watch over the next few minutes, you see those 3 gravitic anomalies start to move apart and settle as they push each other away and slowly move away from each other. You can see that similar anomalies have popped up all around the asteroid belt. You see the marker buoys start to move somewhat violently and then calm down as these initially high strength spheres of gravity start to calm down. You can definitely note that while the paths and the anomalies have changed, you'll note that if you compare it against the traffic information from the day before, the rocks that Elena Fiaffa and Mineral were going after are now inaccessible, and the ones that DAC were going for, there are still safe paths to.
Okay, so it's definitely Daisy that's doing the gravity then.
So at which point, okay, it's now the next day, so my day code for access to the base no longer will work. But do we want to just try and go there anyway?
Yeah. Kick the door down and send Ziegler in.
And then we send Ziegler in and then he kicks the door down.
Ziegler's still out demanding an answer from the back of the ship. He's not moved up or anything. He's just screaming, "Why is my communication being cut off?"
I guess, like, assuming we set off in the direction of the DAC, I think Blodden will come back and say the DAC are fucking with us.
Ziegler just growls and goes back to his quarters and starts. You hear him loading his shotgun.
So you make your way over to DAC?
Yeah.
As you approach the larger asteroid where you know the facility to be, you see a series of... there's no facility on the surface. The sensor readings that you have is that it's somewhat inside the asteroid in a crater or natural flume. You can see various landing points along the surface.
Cool.
Is there like did you say there was like a main facility or?
Yeah, there's like a grid of 6 landing points on the surface above what you can detect underneath to be a somewhat expensive facility. You can see 3 of 6 of them are already occupied by mining ships. You can detect that, yeah, this is the home base for DAC in the asteroid belt.
I guess without the code, we're going to need to convince them to let us in again.
We just tell them it took us a while to get here. You know, our code's out of date, but you know.
Yeah,
It's an old code, but yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, we could try the code from yesterday. It's only just gone midnight, so maybe they will accept that.
Yeah, head into land.
Yeah, keeping an eye out for like any warnings or guns that appear or anything. You know, like...
As you approach landing field, you get auto response like, "Howdy, partner. Welcome to the DAC mining facility in asteroid belt 290 Mark 89. Landing bay 5 is available." And you can come in and land on the surface of the asteroid. And off to the left here, you can see blast doors. As you land, automated refueling hoses spool out, and you're not immediately like kicked off or shot at. But yeah, your ship is accepted. Sorry, say again?
We're seeing black again.
Oh. I will get the hang of this eventually. That's right. There you are. Yeah, you brought into land on this pad. Yeah. No issues, you're not shot at. You land without issue.
Cool. Now that we're basically on their station, is their network available to have a quick look at, or is that not something they have open?
I think as you land, you get a hail, like painting softly.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
open up.
log on, take a look at first whatever the hail is sending our way.
Yep. Yeah, it's a request for like voice comms.
Accept it and open it and put it on big screen.
Alright, so comes through. "Howdy, this is Alan Yates with the Darien Agricultural Consortium. How may I help you?"
Is Whittle here to do their thing with the...
I am, yes. Whittle will respond in kind of, well, you see, we're here to begin investigations on the pirates that are attacking people in this mining area, and to see what we can do about getting that sorted out so that we can ensure that we're getting maximized profits indeed.
"You're with the consortium?"
Indeed we are. And I will use my ability again to craft identity, spin identity even.
I'm glad that you've seen the light, brothers. I'm sure you know what Miss Springbok has been doing. It's a fine work. We're glad to have more reinforcements. We've been asking for help against these minor role and Yelena Fufa fuckers for weeks. Glad to have you. We're approaching the end of our great work. I'm glad to have you with us at this time. Come aboard.
Well, that's our ticket in, I suppose.
I hadn't realised we'd signed up for Holy War, but you know.
Yeah, religious fanatics, great.
Yeah, I guess we
Trying.
load for bear.
Yeah. So
Yep, yeah. You're invited to enter. You can go off the ship.
people can go down.
Yeah, it's an atmospheric tunnel is extended towards you, which is like a bubble of atmosphere contained within an unseen force field between the ship and the doors. And you're aware that if you go out without suits and they decide to shut that off, you're not going to be able to get back to the ship in the void of space. But
has everyone got a? I know me, Ziegler, and Shadow. Do you have one as well? A suit.
Yeah. Do you have some form of spacesuit?
Whittle does not. She is in dungarees.
Great. I'm sure we'll find something inside the DM.
Yeah, we try and liberate one if we need to.
Ziegler purposefully doesn't walk in this tube of air, by the way. Walking in parallel to it, but not in it. With his shotgun in hand, looking very angry.
You feel resistance as if walking through, like, in kitchens have, like, those doors that are just strings of beads. You kind of feel that as you walk outside of the atmospheric force field. It's like a slight popping resistance, and it's not a sucking because the low pressure is outside, but a blowing of air where you penetrate and the seal isn't perfect around your form, but you can walk on either side of the atmosphere tunnel if you would like.
I guess the rest of us follow the atmosphere tunnel.
Yeah. There's just a standard airlock. It opens up, accepts you in, and you walk in to find what looks to be like a scrub/decontamination room with some environment suits and like various mining equipment. Then it opens up as you go in further towards a large domed room, a larger circular room with a domed ceiling, and inside you can see a group of 4 people stood in a circle, all in dark robes, with extending their hands, kind of like T-posing, and you can feel immediately the oppressive backwash of extensive bleed use.
Oh God!
Do we immediately draw weapons?
Is it just those 4? Like
You can see.
So we can see, like, or is it like?
You know how when you go on a roller coaster, before you leave, there's like an overhanging window.
Yeah.
With the controller, you can see up in an overhanging window, presumably Alan Yates, who was on the communications with you.
Can I use my gravity nullifier, try and harpoon myself up there?
Are you initiating combat?
It sounds like it to me.
No, the gravity nullifier's not got to do with combat. I'm just floating up and then harpooning like the wall next to it in order to get up there.
If you use your harpoon, they're going to take that as an aggressive action. I will warn you.
And jump up there with no gravity or something?
There are stairs.
Too easy.
But that's boring.
At the moment, your credentials provided by Whittle are holding. They're not immediately like turning to attack you or anything.
Right. Just gonna walk up there then and have a look into that control room.
There's the 4 hooded individuals chanting in the middle, saying something about the inner light, and then Alan Yates stuff at the top.
God. So is it safe for me to assume that the gravitic effects outside are all bleed effects? There's not like a device that's doing that.
Intense pressure coming from the circle. I think it'd be fair to guess that they are engaging in the use of gravity manipulation. Yeah.
Cool.
Are they in like a circle? Did you say with their hands linked, or?
Yes. Yeah. Like T-posing basically with all holding
Will
hands.
push some of their hands down like from the ring to try and break the ring, just to be annoying more than actually trying to actively do something.
As you approach them, it gets harder and harder to walk towards them, as it feels like you're getting heavier and heavier as you move towards
Well,
the.
As you know, Ziegler, when he's faced with the problem, just tries harder. So carry on.
I think if you are walking aggressively towards this circle, that's gonna be initiative.
Okay.
The kids, Alan Yates from the top goes, "What are you doing?" On like internal communications, like this sees this powered armored individual as Regalia, watch out! You know, as he running towards them in power armor at full speed.
I wasn't going to hit them. Yeah. All right. So is this actually rolling for initiation now?
Yep, everyone roll initiative for me, please.
Oh,
That's bad. I've never rolled well for initiative. So Jesus.
Ooh, speedy. Right, both Leofrich and Whittle, you can go before any of these individuals.
Alright, I want to try and put a shot into the four like cultists or whatever they are.
You can see that one is clearly of the space gazelle species that is native to Icaros. The other three appear to be human.
That's the Xenos.
Yeah, I'll shoot at the gazelle. Sure, why not?
Alright, that's difficulty 4.
That's good. Just yeah. Okay. Failed.
Yeah, you just miss your shot. I think you don't miss. I think your aim is perfect. You're right on, but as the shot approaches, the bullet appears to curve around the four individuals.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I was thinking about throwing a grenade, but I wasn't sure if it would actually reach them or stop in the air. And like, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I think that's why you fail. It like orbits around them and pings into the floor on the other side.
Yeah.
Whittle.
Whittle will engage in something she's done before, and calling out to. He said so. Three of them are human. One of them's from.
It looked like a gazelle from Icaros.
Looks like a gazelle from Icaros, and
Yep.
what she's going to do is she's going to start talking to the one that looks like a gazelle, and then it's like, "Oh, hello, you're very interesting. Then, what species are you? Me, I'm a Queltal. I don't know if you know about us, but we're from Cardacuk, you know, and essentially she will be using enthrall, so talking keep another creature's attention, even if they can't understand you, for as long as you do nothing but speak. So they can take no action other than to defend itself, even over multiple rounds.
Cool, very cool. Yeah. That doesn't require a roll. You just enthrall them with your interesting speech. And I think you see, first she tries very, very hard to keep concentrating on the circle, but then she can't help but turn her head to look towards you as your charisma distracts her. And everyone, please make a difficulty 6 defense roll.
Might.
It might speed or intellect.
It's speed. Might. Sorry, might. You can use. It's only important in terms of using effort to reduce this.
Oh, fuck.
Fail. 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 Oh, yeah. All right. So, everyone take 6 damage, ignoring armor. So this is reduced from your might pool. Everyone feels themselves crushed by a pulse of gravity as the circle breaks and her hands drop. You feel like you're under 11, 12 Gs as you are crushed. And Ziegler, take an XP and give an XP to someone else.
I'll give an XP to Bloodwind.
Cool.
In addition to taking 6 damage, your armor is damaged and now only counts as medium armor. Yeah, so reduce your armor value to 2. And it's still heavy armor, it's just damaged heavy armor. Yeah.
Good thing you've got some pig iron and copper back on us. You can repair it with.
You feel something crack and pop as you are crushed under this armor. And I think it's because you're so much larger than everyone else that the weight of your own mass is making this even worse for you.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you were going for the stairs as well.
Yeah, I was running up the stairs, I think. Oh no, I was sorry. I ended up running up the circle.
Oh, you ran for the circle. Sorry. Yeah.
Which initiated this entire situation.
I think we hear glass shatter as a projectile weapon is shot from above towards you. And make a difficulty 4 defense roll for me, please. What? So you successfully dodge, and you also managed to do something else in your dodge. What would you like to do?
Use the gravity nullifier.
Use your Cypher?
Yeah.
Certainly. Roll. What was it again?
1d6 plus 3 is what I've got written down.
Yep. Roll 1d6 plus 3 for me, please.
That needs to be higher than my weight, and it's £50 per, so that's 250. You said 250 for me, I think.
I'm going to take it to mean mass. I did say 250 for you. So, as a result of this defense, you can tell me how you defend, but yeah, you managed to activate this gravity nullifier. You feel all effects of gravity on yourself cease.
So I'm floating now, in effect.
Yeah, you're not floating yet. Your feet are still on the ground, but like you are weightless.
Yeah, okay. The defense, as per with Ziegler, it's just minimal movement, pings off the armor, as per.
Cool. And the 2 who have not gone can go.
Cool.
I think it's just Bloodwind that hasn't gone.
Bloodwind and Ziegler, I think.
Ziegler hasn't
Oh
actually.
yeah.
It's just been shut at.
If Ziegler wants to actually do something with his now weightless form.
Can I see the guy in the room up above at the moment, or is he kind of being pulled down?
Yeah, he just shut down. You can see him clearly up through a window. He's in like a control room.
Can I shoot my harpoon at him?
You definitely can. That's a difficulty 4 shot.
Do I have anything to help that? No, probably not. Ooh.
Nice.
You get a solid hit, center mass on Alan Yates. He takes 5 damage, and he is
Plus 1.
Oh yeah, +1, 6 damage. Yep, and he's harpooned. You have him on the end.
Can I reel myself towards him at this point? Or?
On your next turn, you could.
Oh, okay.
Bloodwin.
Yeah, so Bogman's going to shoulder the Wyvern long rifle. How hard is it to attack one of the cultists in the middle?
So currently, everyone that isn't Regina, the 3 robed figures are writhing on the ground, not doing much. So far as you can tell, they've been crushed by the gravitic effect as well. They weren't immune to it.
Okay.
They're not really combat effective, so shooting them would be difficulty 0. You could just shoot one of them if you wanted. But Regina would be difficulty 4.
That's the one that's currently enthralled by Whittle.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Is there anyone else in the room? That's everyone in the room from the group I forgot the name of.
In the room that you're currently in, yeah.
From this room, I assume there are doors out somewhere else.
Yes. Yep. It's a circular room, and each of the compass directions there's like an airlock. The one that you just came through, and then yeah.
Okay, so will those airlocks take me out onto the surface again, somewhere else?
You can probably identify that if the one you came in from was the south position, both east and west probably also go out to airlocks, and the northernmost one opposite the place you came in is likely to further inside.
Okay, so yeah, I guess instead of choosing anyone, if most people seem to be incapacitated in one way or another, Blonde's going to go for that door. Is that far enough movement that it's going to take my turn?
Yep, yeah, certainly you can get to the door. Yeah, no problem.
Cool. So I assume that, and then I will go to start opening it, but I assume that's next turn stuff.
I think you can open it and look through in one turn because you can move a decent amount, and that's like some movement. So as you look in, you can see that further inside, it's like it's what you'd expect to see in like an industrial college dorm mixed with a garage. There's like people milling about, like off at the end of a long corridor. You can see various tools. It looks like a workshop with also beds. Like inside it's like an oil rig, basically. You can see like it's a vault. It goes down deeper into the asteroid. There's various levels that you can see down into.
So this looks like, frankly, a massive place. Like a lot of people are here.
Yeah, you can guesstimate that there is several hundred people potentially living here. Yeah.
Great. I close the door again. And I think that's my turn because I can't stop doing it.
Yeah. And top of the initiative, Regina is still enthralled by Whittle. Doesn't I think you all feel like the gravity increasing in the room again, but not to a point that hurts yet. And Alan Yates will take another shot at Ziegler and make a difficulty 4 speed defense for me, please.
Do I know anything for being weightless? Yeah, sure.
I don't think so.
Piss.
I take 4 damage reduced by armor, so you take 2 damage. It's a small pistol, pings into your armor, manages to damage you somehow.
It goes through the cracked carapace or whatever.
Yeah, it goes through where it's been damaged by the gravity crushing previously. And then it's PC's turn. The 3 hooded people are just writhing on the floor. Regina is enthralled by Whittle currently.
Yeah, so
Alan is harpooned.
Blondin kind of turns back to the room and goes, "There's a lot of people here. I'm not sure they're going to be happy that we killed the cultists.
If we do it quick and then move and then leave, that'd be the best idea.
Okay, well, so in which case we've resolved one part of the issue. Well, there may be more cultists that may do this again. Is my only worry.
Oh, the wording for the reward on that one is for reducing the risk of graphitic anomalies within the asteroid belt.
Yeah, okay. We take out the cultists. If any of us can, I just want to use my Cypher, the tissue regeneration one. So I can put that on the thing.
Right. Leofridge activates his tissue regenerator.
Yeah, so it gives me a point of adds one to my pool every round or whatever.
Yeah, up to a maximum equal to twice your
the Cypher's level.
Sure. So if you roll 1d6.
Yeah,
9,
it rolled.
sure.
It rolled. Yeah.
Right.
So 18.
Yep.
Cool.
So you can regain up to 18 points. You can tick 1 for this turn if you haven't already. Anyone else can go?
Well, you
Is it-
see, that's all very interesting. You see so many people when you come out in space like this. It's really very interesting. Honestly, it's such a wonderful experience. It's really something that everyone should experience. But I know that some people just are stuck in their ways and they really just can't stand to do it themselves. But you and me know we're out here doing this, don't you see? It's such a wonderful thing. And she goes on and on and on.
Very good. Continue to enthrall the space gazelle.
Is it a full action for me to like manipulate the harpoon coil and pull myself towards this guy?
You can do that, or you can hit the button to reload it. It's up to you. You can tell me what you're doing, and I'll give you how to enact it mechanically.
What would happen if I reloaded it? Would that pull him to me? I suppose I've got 0G though, so I'm just going to go along for the ride. Yeah, I press the reload button. It recoils in, and I get pulled with it at high velocity.
I think you hit the reload button, which would normally pull the harpoon towards you, but given that you are weightless and it's hooked into a man, yeah, I think you are you are launched upwards into this control bay through the window, smashing it, and you collide and you fall and you roll with around on the floor with Alan Yates. Bloodwin, you can go.
Okay. Interesting. What it is we do. So we've killed these cultists. Do we want to kill more cultists? Do we know? So now that I'm in their station, can I attempt to connect to their network and see if I can find out what's going on here? Like, is this they've taken over the entire? It seems like they've taken over the whole thing and turned it into a nest of fanatics. Can I just confirm that on the network or something?
Your ability allows you to gain quick access to decide bit of information if you look to activate that.
Yeah, that's what I
Currently be free for you. So you got 2 edge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you easily you easily access their system, and you can see an encrypted addition to the email chain which you had access to before, which talks about hiring the services of Pastor Regina, and it basically details to you this conspiracy where they're gonna force Mineral and Elena Fiaffa to give up their rights, and also some discussion around the pirate attacks that they're not exactly sure, but they have their suspicions that it is Elena Fiaffa.
Okay.
Yeah, you get some information that these were Ascent renegades that DAC hired to enact these graphitic anomalies.
Cool. So, problem is we're now in the position where I have to advocate for minerals rights that I don't like.
Damn it.
Well, you don't have to.
I do if I want to get paid.
Third-party arbitration, whatever you go back and tell the authorities is up to you.
I don't think we can, as much as I'm sure Ziegler would disagree with me, I don't think we can survive fighting this entire station.
We could leave Ziegler to it and see what happens.
So yeah, I think Ron's kind of immediate response will be to just, oh god, okay, I think Bone's going to return to kind of the group in the middle and ask Whittle if they can keep this person enthralled whilst we fly back and use them as evidence in our report.
The enthrall still allows them to defend themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Will that stop them from just following us because they're enthralled?
I can't move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, enthrall is just it's a static. Okay, that's not helpful then.
We need Nakora and his taser. That's what we need.
No, we need Nakora's taser. We don't need Nakora.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, we don't necessarily need them because if we say there's a problem, you need to go there and sort it out. I'm sure TGI security would be quite happy to do that.
I think as you're thinking this through, we move on to the enemy's turn, and everyone, please make a difficulty 5 might defense for me.
Might defense. I thought they were out cold. What?
This is from Regina.
She can't do anything other than defend herself.
She's defending herself.
That's attacking. It's entirely different.
Another one.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
I don't have any more XP to get rid of. What was that?
Well, you're gonna gain an XP.
I'm going to use an effort as well. So.
You gained an XP from the last time. Did you not mark it down?
What from? Sorry.
Whenever you roll a 1, you get an XP.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I've been telling you to take an XP.
I think you should have.
Oh, take an XP. Right,
Yeah.
I've been interpreting that as -1, not.
No.
So you should have like 3, 4, probably.
Well, I had 2 in the last session, then -1, then another 2 this time.
You did re-roll.
Yeah, and then a reroll, so I'll be on 3, I think.
I think put yourself on 3 XP because you should have had an advancement by now, but you did re-roll a few times. Yeah. You can also give an XP to someone else.
I'll give it to Whittle.
I needed to get that 20. I'm on 1 might.
I mean, I'm on 4, so how much damage do I take for failure?
This is 5 damage.
Cool.
5 damage, ignoring armor, and Ziegler, your armor is further damaged. It now only counts as light armor. So only protects you 1. You feel servos pop and crush as this outwards pushing from Regina, trying to push you all away using the bleed.
I hate you.
My might has reached 0, which means I'm now impaired. What does that mean mechanically?
So you drop your damage track to impaired, and any spillover damage goes to your speed pool.
Yeah, I did that. Is there any kind of disadvantage or anything that I take due to being impaired?
Let me check real quick. I should know the answer to that already, but
I think this is the first time anyone's.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the first time anyone's.
Taking this much damage.
Yeah. The damage track is on page 218. The extra taking damage. Damage track. Impaired. Costs you 1 extra point to use effort.
Okay.
And you ignore any minor or major effects if you roll a 17 or higher. So you don't get any bonuses, and it's harder for you to apply effort.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Is that it's still enemy turn? So I guess the guy that's grappling with Ziegler will do something.
He's gonna try and pull the harpoon out of himself. Ziegler, if you can make difficulty 4 might roll for me, please. You're grappling Alan.
So I fail that.
I think he manages to free himself from the harpoon, and he's gonna try and run. Basically, he's trying to escape your grasp. So
Okay.
that from that grapple, and it's PC's turn.
Cool. I would like to shoot the person that just tried to use their minds to hurt me.
Definitely difficulty 4.
Cool. 24. I will apply an effort. No, I won't. Cause I can't risk that because if I don't, just screw me. So I won't apply any effort to that.
It would cost you 4 to apply effort as well
But yeah,
from a speed.
Hey. That's a fat
Nice. You don't get the +1 damage, but
so 4.
yeah, she's already taken damage. At this point, the 3 that were stood with her are lying still in pools of their own blood. Regina, who was enthralled, takes the shot. Like, it curves, but still clips her like directly in the upper body, and she goes down like a sack of potatoes. Is still enthralled by Whittle somehow because it doesn't have to be able to understand.
It does break when they're attacked, so she's not anymore.
Does it? Does it mention that?
Yes.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, she's knocked out on the floor anyway. But yeah, and
I want to shoot
Alan's
that.
gonna try and run. That's the only real thing to resolve from combat. If
I
the
want to
3
shoot the
remaining
coward
people.
that's running
Sure.
with
Difficulty
the
4.
heavy shotgun.
This is immediate range. Yeah, you tell me how this guy becomes red mist.
Well, so I've basically done a Superman, flown through the window with the grappling gun in a really bizarre state of affairs. He's managed to pull the harpoon out of himself and roll over and start running, but as he's doing it, I roll over and clock him in the back of the head with the shotgun at immediate range, and yeah, you can imagine what happens. He no longer has a head.
Yeah, Alan Yates is ex-Alan Yates is no longer. Yeah, so you have 3 dead cultists on the floor. You have a knocked out Regina, and you are out of combat. It's free form now.
I'm still floating for the next hour, though.
There's I think
Use the harpoon as a lead.
as this combat comes to an end, you see red claxons on the wall, whoop, 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 and flashing lights through the facility. You start to hear the clunk, 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 clunk of boots on metal.
I think we might want to get out of here.
Do we want to try and grab her and take her with us, or?
Sure.
Probably a good idea.
I could harpoon her and
Put her
use
into
her.
our arm and try and get Bloodwind to get them and drag her out.
Yeah. grab her by a limb and pull.
You abduct.
On an asteroid, it's probably lesser gravity than a planet, or unless they've got gravity stuff because of the station.
Yeah, you're in with the effect of her gun. I mean, you're in artificial deck plate, but as soon as you step out into the atmosphere tunnel, you're feeling like 0.6 Gs. You're feeling significantly lighter. Ziegler, you are floating, and you have to either pull yourself along by grabbing onto structure, or if you have any kind of maglock on your boots, you can do that.
I've
But
got maglock, but I'm also using the harpoon to maneuver.
okay,
I'm
cool.
imagining it.
Yeah, you
Fires
managed.
the harpoon, pulls himself in. Fires the harpoon, pulls himself in.
That's how I'm imagining it going, to be honest.
It's the most inefficient means of travel.
You have enough time to get to the ship before anyone else intervenes.
Especially because you're being thrown back by the recoil every time you fire it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I shoot the floor and then maglock myself to the floor and run along like I'm. That would make more sense.
Who cares about sense, damn it?
Yeah, Leverage just like runs towards the cockpit and like starts to ship up and starts getting ready to fire up.
So, and yeah, I think Login just starts like taking all of the recordings we've got of like the Elena Fiafa being pirates, and all the records that we now have of them, of the the other people, the D whatever, being and like,
EAC, yeah.
basically starts writing up a report for the TCGI, and with a recommendation that they should one, send someone in to sort out the cultists, and two, hand over control to the mineral people.
Whittle will investigate Regina, both to kind of make sure there isn't anything kind of on her that could hurt us if she were to wake up, and potentially both kind of try to make sure she doesn't wake up, but also that she doesn't die.
Sure. You can successfully, should you so desire, I think you're heading back to the station.
Yeah.
Yeah, make close to TCGI.
I think you managed to abscond without anyone interfering with you, but you definitely notice DAC mining ships are heading back towards the facility and are pinging you like, "Hey, partner, stop!" You know, like, trying to come back here. You know.
I think we seat Frederick Ziegler at the gun controls and tell him to shoot anyone that gets too close.
Oh yeah, as soon as I get back on the ship, I'm immediately in that gun seat and I'm ready and prepped. I don't know if it's necessary to put me on the training mode again, because that seems to happen every time I get involved with the guns. But
Could I try to hail one or two of the ships and try a spin identity to say that we are actually on the DAC's side, and there are infiltrators in the other ships that are chasing us?
Even if they believe that you're from the DAC, which they will with spin identity, I think there's still a role for them to believe you. I think that's going to be... they're simple people. Difficulty 3 intellect roll.
Okay, how many ships? Because that would depend on the cost.
I mean, you only have to use spin identity once to pretend if you're broadcasting to all of them.
It increases by the cost by 1 for each additional person.
By each additional victim.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 ships that come after you, because there was the 3 on the asteroid and then 3 empty bays. So I think it's 3 mining ships.
Okay, I'll use it on 2 of them then. So that's was it 3 difficulty?
Yes, difficulty 3. Yeah.
And is this deception?
It is deceiving. Yeah.
I am trained in that.
Difficulty 2 in that case.
Commit. And sure, why not? Let's spend an effort.
Oof.
Oh no.
I mean, they were already coming after us. It didn't get any worse.
I think you personally, Whittle, are going to take an additional reputation hit as a result of failing that roll.
What if I spend XP to reroll?
I would recommend not doing that. I don't think it's worth, but you can if you want.
Okay, I won't. I won't.
Yeah, there's likely not going to be any consequences in the 10 minutes of session we have left, so you might want to hang on to the XP rather than.
Cool.
I
think-
assume we're faster than the mining ships anyway. So
Yeah, I think it's that you managed to convince one, but the other doesn't believe you. So it's partial failure. But yeah, they will note that you tried to deceive them. Yep, you make your way back to TGGI station. What's the story that you tell TTGI when you get back?
Well,
I know you gave your report already, but
Yeah, so I think it's something along the lines of the gravitic anomalies are the DAC have gone mad, and need a proper security force to go in and remove them before they cause major issues. And we have done our best to remove the people immediately causing the gravitic effects.
Yeah. Please take this bleed sorcerer away, please.
Oh yeah, and take the bleed sorcerer from us. But we can't be sure that we got all of them. Also, the Illuminafiafa are the ones pretending to be pirates in the area, as we believe a ploy to cause the others to leave. So there's your pirate issue, and as a result, I believe your mining negotiations could be solved quite easily by censoring the two that are definitely breaking some laws and removing their rights to the mining.
Well, you won't have resolved all of the issues in the asteroid belt. Your report has definitely helped along the way. I think you're all sat around again in the Cactus Oasis Bar and Casino after you've made your report, waiting for Handler Wolf to get back to you. And as you're sat around the bustle of people, you all your comms ping as 1,300 howl has been added to each of your individual accounts. In addition, there's a note to you, Whittle, that Pastor Regina keeps asking after you and would like to get in touch with you again.
You know what? She's up for that.
You also come back to an additional email from Ezekiel Aker saying, "I don't know what happened out there, young miss, but I'd still like to get drinks next week if you're up for it." And
She is indeed. I managed to make both a friend and an enemy of the DAC.
Is my armor permanently damaged like this?
You'll have to find out on a further session. But your armor is currently damaged, yeah.
I
Crushed.
I could theoretically try and fix it for you.
What with the copper wire and pig iron I've got?
Yeah.
We can do that in downtime between sessions. We could talk about how you could get your armor repaired.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything else they would like to do before we cut to the credits of this episode of Free Agents?
I've got 4 XP, but I'll spend that between sessions, so no.
Cool.
I mean, I like the idea that X is out with Ziegler desperately trying to barter with somebody in the industrial district for more copper for no good reason.
Yeah, I think as usual we have an after credit sequence. We have the it credits Regina as crazy bleed sorcerer. It rolls the Free Agents themes. And I think as we cut to the post-credit scene, we see Ziegler stood in the same counter, 2 security guys either side of him shaking their heads, tutting, as he's trying to bargain for 200 tons of raw copper. And I think what it's a low down shot. The camera's close to the ground, and we just see one hairy ginger leg step in front of the camera, as we hear "Hey, you looking for a space for that copper, lad?" And we cut to the producer's credits.
Once again, Ziegler's not been involved with the actual mission, just stuff around.
Yeah, this is the end of our session. Thank you for going on my wild asteroid belt adventure that I
That was very
planned in a
fun.
fever dream.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
No worries, no worries. The combat light episode, one of an investigative one.
Fine by me. I'm a squishy axolotl lady.
Awesome.
I need to decide what to spend my XP on.